Hello and welcome to the Dome Show, a gaming podcast. In today's episode, I sit down with Mitch, aka itsOGPickle, who is a eFuse partner, Twitch partner, PUBG partner, and hot sauce god. I had a blast chatting with Mitch today about a variety of different topics, of course, including gaming and PUBG, the future of battle royales. We talked about DrDisrespect's new game, which led us into crypto and NFTs and how those are kind of morphing into video games and whether or not they belong there. And then we talked about just mental health of a content creator. Pickle opened up about some very personal things there. And we also discussed Twitch versus YouTube and kind of where the future of live streaming is going. So I had a blast talking to Mitch. I truly enjoy and adore his opinion and his insight on different topics. And I really did learn a lot, and I continue to do so every time I chat with him. So I hope you enjoyed today's episode just as much as I did. If you did, please be sure to give this video a thumbs up, share it with a buddy, get subscribed if you are new to the channel. And of course, if you're listening to us on the audio only podcast available anywhere, give us a thumbs up or a 5-star review on whatever app of choice you are using. It really does help us grow. With that out the way, links will be in the description for Pickle's social media. Please make sure to go give him some love and support him and let him know what you thought of today's episode. And I hope you all enjoy. Take care. Peace. My first question is, I love the stuff you do with the hot shit videos. Where did that start and where did that come from?
Yeah, that's a good question. I was seeking to create an identity in gaming, and I thought, a lot of the advice I had got from working with influencers and really just reading and understanding how content lives, not only on Twitch, but all tides rise together, right? Like I wanted to create a presence on Twitter and a presence on Instagram. And I loved Barstool pizza reviews. I thought Dave Portnoy was doing it great. Those like 2 minutes, just like, hey, Frankie, what's up? Here's the camera, take a bite. Everybody knows the rules, little catchphrases.
And that's the guy that comes outside of the pizza store and takes the bite of the. Okay, I've seen some of those clips. Okay,
yeah. So I love that, and I also was dumbfounded in a way from Hot Ones, like you said. I thought the reactions that people had when they ate spicy foods was quite unique. All right, like everyone wants to watch someone geek out when they get to the hot wings, and it keeps people engaged. It keeps them watching the entire episode. So I kind of homogenized both. I got a lot of flack in certain circumstances in arenas, even in the Barstool or the Hot Ones realms. But, I kind of took a homogenation of both. I wanted to make something that was short, sweet, easily digestible content. I go eat something spicy. You watch me get the pinnacle of Hot Ones. You watch me freak out for a second.
Right.
Can't talk, can't breathe, need the milk, and score it. And that's where it was born. And ultimately, my goal at the end of it, similar to what you see like Mr. Beast, like building the chocolate factory to ultimately sell chocolate bars.
Yeah.
My goal in the end was I knew I wanted to make my own hot sauce. It's always been a goal for me. So I figured, let's build a content series that kind of gets people conditioned to know me as the hot sauce god and napkins in the back pocket and scoring things and guessing the scores. But ultimately, I wanted to sell a hot sauce.
Well, you completed that goal because you sold 5 different flavors of hot sauces. And I've purchased every single one of them, and I've never been like a hot sauce connoisseur. I never buy the latest hot sauces. I don't even go down the hot sauce fucking aisle at the grocery store. But I bought all of your hot sauces, and each one of them was uniquely different. I was like, oh shit, I can use this on chicken and use this on my shrimp meal, or use this on my little ham and turkey sandwich, all that kind of shit. I was like, man, it's actually really good. You came up with those flavors on your own, or is this like a collaboration with a company kind of thing? What was the deal behind that?
Yeah, there's a company in town called Fartley Farms.
Fartley Farms?
Yeah, he's a good friend of mine. Yeah, he's a play on his sauces are a play on farts,
right?
And different puns there.
Yeah.
But he was making sauces. He only had a couple out at the time, and I really enjoyed them. He was very low key, very local, didn't have a ton of traction. And I kind of went to him and I said, hey, I'm building this show. He was kind of a rival, right? He wrote spiciest stuff in Columbus reviews, and he kind of found the spiciest foods in Columbus. And I would kind of benchmark oh yeah, I got to go try that spot out and film. I was doing video, he was doing written. Actually, we were kind of rivals for a while. I don't think that he liked me in the beginning because I was stepping in his territory, but I extended the olive branch. I was like, hey man, you're doing some really cool stuff. I always wanted to launch some hot sauces. So we used a couple of ones that existed already as the Tyrannosaurus Rex, which was my first one that ever
Right.
came out.
Right.
But as he was beginning to develop hot sauces, he would come to me and we would try different flavors and he would try different mixes and I would kind of tell him what I thought and maybe some changes that I'd like, and we'd kind of come together in kind of synergy about what the next one was going to be. He would make his, I would make mine, and that way we could keep costs down, because the other side of this is purchasing of inventory, right? The more sauces you buy in volume, the cheaper they get, the more margin you can have on a product. So it was better in collaboration. You know, he sold his to the local community. I was more national. I would do national shipping and international, even to Canada. But yeah, I've got to give a huge shout out. It was a collaborative effort all across the board, and I'm grateful for the avenues that he opened to me, because until I got there, I didn't realize how intricate it was to create hot sauces with regard to needing paperwork and co-packing facilities and commercial kitchens and such. So there's a lot more behind the scenes that goes into making commercial products.
I can only imagine, because when I see like your little Twitter posts, like your behind the scenes videos or your little blooper videos that you put out that are freaking hilarious, by the way, like I think about all the time. Like I think I'm a busy person. Like I like to think that like, man, I'm working, a full-time job and I'm freaking trying to do this like streaming content creation thing, which is also like a full-time job in terms of hours dedicated, a family and a newborn, all this stuff. And then I look at like someone like you, I'm like, bro, how the hell does this guy have the time to like do all the stuff he does, do all the collaborations? I see you like, you got this little video with Gary Vee, like I don't know, you ran into him, you worked with him, whatever. I don't know what the story is yet on that. Like you got little videos with him popping up. I know you used to do stuff with like Choco, like helping with all this merch and everything. And then you're creating this whole line of fucking hot sauces, packaging them and shipping them yourself, which like I did like when I first started streaming. I made my own, not made, but I bought like clear shaker bottles and like made my own labels and put my labels on the things and like shipped them out myself. It was a fucking nightmare, dude. Like it was like an absolute hassle. And I'm like, how the hell is this guy doing like nationally hot sauce shipments and stuff? It's got to be like such a huge undertaking that like the average person has zero idea of how it works. Like zero.
I think it comes down to a lot of our times we break out into the day are the 9 to 5, right? We measure time in the sense of it's an 8 o'clock. I got to get there. I work till 5. And then when you come home, you kind of set down boundaries that you've known in your entire life, probably based on what your parents did or just your comfort levels or energy levels. Always been a high energy guy, but I don't measure the rest of my day in those capacities. Like, the back half of the, let's call it like 6 o'clock after dinner to 8, you're watching Netflix, right?
Okay.
And then from 8 to like 10, you may be lounging, you may be doing activity, maybe you watch Twitch, like whatever you're into. That's a huge window of opportunity that you are not capitalizing on. Like, so when you ask how to have time, I don't watch Netflix and I don't watch shows. I don't do anything other than in my free time. And like when the kids are down, I'm either live. And if I'm not live, I have opportunities in that time to maximize. I still get like 6 to 7 hours of sleep. I'll go to bed at, midnight to 1, try to get up around 7. But I really think it comes down to, let's take a look at the proportional amount of time you're spending on those excess activities that truly lead to nothing. Sure, it feels good that you can talk to your buddy at work that you saw the season finale of Breaking Bad, or you saw Game of Thrones, or you're looking forward to Stranger Things season. Like those are all great topics, and I don't negate those. I think that's cool and there's merit to it. I just chose in those pockets of time to maximize the rest of my day. And I think there's some unlocks, like people who listen to this, like there are some unlocks. I think we all feel guilty. Like, man, I just watched like 7 episodes in a row. That's cool. Like,
Right.
That's cool. I'm all for mental health and relaxation. But the other side is if you seek to do more or maximize or start a side business or a hustle or some kind of additional opportunity outside of it, then you have to start to look at the time slots available that you're not allocating it to. And then you have to assess even further what you're allocating them toward.
Well said. Absolutely well said. It's how many people want to do their dream job, their side hustle dream job, and eventually make that their future career, but never just jump into it and spend a couple hours a night or a couple hours a week just to get started because of how daunting it actually can seem.
Yeah,
so many
exactly
people,
right.
man.
There's a lot of people that will make the excuse, I don't have time. Right? Like,
yeah.
Well, I don't have the energy, right? But those are questions are very nuanced responses to like, well, I would ask, do you want it bad enough? Because if you do, then the reevaluation period needs to happen. Like, where are
Right.
you spending that XX time? Why don't you have enough energy, right? Um, and I think there's just a lot to take away from how bad somebody wants it versus how much time and the efficacy that they can. And I think the other side is scalability. I didn't just jump into like 5 hot sauces at once and, taking 6 hours to ship and label and do like crazy investments and stuff. What I
Right.
did was I started with one. And when one was successful and I replicated and learned the process, I scaled. So I think the other side of it is, my advice to people that are listening to this is, great, you want to do your passion project. It doesn't have to be an A plus by the time you start, right? Like we all can build a mound of crap into something beautiful, right? It just takes time. And I think there's a patience factor too, that whether you're building a Twitch stream, a hot sauce company, an influencer merchandising business, it doesn't all have to be a multi-million dollar franchise when it takes off. You have the ability to start with something. Just start with one option and figure out how it works and figure out what doesn't work and trial and fail. Like, that's another huge part of it. And through that, you'll find this scalability. You'll find this ability to grow into another step and another step you might not have seen before. So I think tailoring all those together in one is kind of that culmination of what you said. Like, I don't have the time or the energy. Well, great. Find one step that you can start that path. All
Baby
right, I have a
steps.
product. Yeah. How do I start a second product?
Yeah, because I mean, like you said, nothing starts at the end goal. You never start there. You always start, and you said it best. Failure. Failure is super key into like getting that ball rolling, because you're able to see what didn't work, tweak it, and go again and go again. And there's a lot of adversity to it though. Like, it's not for everybody. Some people, for whatever reason, they're just geared to give up at the first sign of adversity, and it's not for them, and they'll do something else that makes them happy. They'll continue their day job, or find something else to bide their time and keep them satisfied. But for you, what I wanted to know too was, how did you get with like ChocoTaco? How did that like relationship start? That merchandising thing. I literally have no idea. Like, I think from what I understand is you did merch for him. Like, you helped him like do merchandise or branding or something, but I don't know any of the background on it.
Yeah. So I actually started at a t-shirt business back in 2013 called Lamp Apparel. And we were a t-shirt company here in Columbus. I worked with one of my best friends, Brandon, and he had started a t-shirt company here in Columbus to make his own clothing line. He was an ex-Ohio State basketball player, and he was given the retail side a shot. And I was a kid with a camera. I was like, hey, man, I want to film for you guys. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm kind of willing to be an unpaid intern and work for free while I learn the ins and outs of it. But I want to help you with your socials to market this stuff. We worked together for years. I had learned through trial by fire, and that's where my content creation sort of started. But we were starting to get traction sort of 2016, 2017, going viral. We started making shirts that were very pop culture based. Like, if something would happen in the celebrity world, or something crazy would happen in sports, like Johnny Manziel gets arrested, or something crazy, we were the first t-shirt company to have it, and I would spin off a video from that. Through that, we garnered the attention from Roman Atwood and Logan Paul, who happen to live in Ohio. So
Roman Atwood,
Logan
like the guy who now does, or used to do Top Gear. The Top Gear presenter.
He's a famous YouTuber. He used to play pranks on his girlfriend Brittany, and he's just a famous YouTuber.
Okay.
Anyway, long story short, we had an opportunity. He came down for a Vine, and he was like, "This is back when Vine was still happening." He was like, "Hey, I want to film a Vine there." This was Logan Paul. And we're like, "Cool, like, go ahead, like, awesome, nice to meet you. Don't know anything about you, cool."
Right.
Well, like 900 people showed up, and they like bought our store out and bought everything out.
Shit.
And we looked at each other and we're like, what the are influencers? Like, genuinely, like, what are influencers?
Shit.
So we gave him a bunch of free clothes, right? We gave him a bunch of free clothes, and he wore them in all his vlogs. You can go back to the earliest Logan Paul vlogs. He's wearing all Lamp Apparel stuff. But we kept in contact.
Oh shit.
Yeah, and so we said to him one day, "Hey, why are you wearing our stuff? Why don't you wear your own?" And through that, Maverick was born. So I helped build Maverick by Logan Paul, which is a huge brand. You can see it on, he's now on WWE.
Mm-hmm.
You can see the Maverick, the bird on his chest and stuff. So we helped pioneer that brand. And through that, we did Mr. Beast and Ninja and all these really, really big streamers. But I wanted to work with ChocoTaco. I had loved PUBG. I had played it on Xbox. I was just switching to PC. And I reached out and I was like, "Hey, Jake, you don't know who I am. I've done these brands, but I'd love to help you, grow because I watch your stream and I care about you and I've learned all these great things from all these big major retailers. I think we can make you some money and build a really cool brand. So that's where it started, and we ended up making ChocoTaco merch and
Yeah, I mean,
all those fun designs you see.
all the freaking cool stuff. Damn, that's crazy, man. It's got to be pretty surreal for you to like have worked with these, huge names. At the time, they may have not been these huge names in the celebrity or YouTube world or social media world, but have worked with them and kind of built those connections almost from like a grassroots perspective. That's got to be really humbling for you, and I'm sure it helps your social media street cred, if you will. Like once people learn about that kind of story.
Well, yeah, the influencer side, you learn a lot of things. You take away the things you like, because one thing that above all else is consistency. The one thing you see, whether or not you think a guy's a schmuck, like there are some influencers out there that we all know and see every day that we're like, wow, how is this guy famous, right? The one thing you can take away is consistency. They're all consistent. They're all consistent with the post, the content, getting things out consistently, right? And there's a lot of learnings in that. And that's why I became a streamer as well. Like, it wasn't just to leverage the popularity of who I was around. Of course, I'd be foolish not to leverage that in a way.
Right.
But two, it was like once I got behind the curtain and the TV, like I went into the TV or YouTube, so to speak, I was like, wow, these guys aren't that cool. Now I won't name which ones are cool and not cool, but like honestly, I was like not impressed by them. I was like, you are not, like, we put people on such a pedestal that we're like, holy crap, this guy's got to be an amazing person or so multi-talented. It's like, no, he's consistent. So a lot of what you see today with regard to, hot sauce content, Twitter content, Instagram content, or even success on Twitch is a lot to attribute to the learnings that I took when I met these people. Was not entirely impressed with all of them. Some of them are amazing. Don't get it twisted.
Sure.
But the ones that I wasn't impressed, I was like, I can have this too. I just need to be consistent. And so I shaped my mind to do so accordingly.
Well, it's obvious that you are very good at what you do. You're very successful, but at the same time, I've seen you, and I don't know you that well, so maybe I shouldn't assume, but it's what I perceived as. I've seen you kind of like you took flack, and maybe you still do. Obviously, I don't know your personal level that way yet, but maybe you still do. Is that you took flack about people saying you rode certain coattails, or you got to a certain position because of someone you knew, not because of the content you put out. And I've seen you even kind of emulate that. Like I remember specifically, I don't know why it sticks out of my head, but I remember back when it was pretty soon after you got partner, or maybe you had been partner for a while, and I think like Corky didn't get Twitch partnership, like maybe his first go around.
It was Shrimsy.
What was it? Okay, and I just remember you making a comment like in the Twitch chat about something about like it's not about what you know, it's who you know, or something like that. And I kind of felt like, man, like I know that he's probably just saying that to maybe help make the other person feel better. Like, hey, it'll happen, and it's going to come with time. But a part of me was like, man, is he like kind of beating himself up? Like, does he really think that he didn't deserve to be where he, like me thinking this about you? I'm like, man, this dude, because I watched the content you put on, this dude's he's hilarious. Like, he's a great content creator. You're good at the games. You're very sociable. You're very personable. And you bring like a unique perspective to a lot of different topics. I'm like, man, I really hope this guy doesn't think that he just like fell into this, this like partnership check mark, whatever the hell, like, did you ever feel like that? Was that something that you really felt, or was that just like something you were saying at the time?
No, that's a great question. Certainly when you're younger and you don't have as much time on the internet, look, time on the internet makes you hardened. Right? Like if you spend all your time on Reddit, you're probably very hardened because everybody's, everybody's opinion is just so it's just crazy. I'll actually shift it a little bit in two part. One, I absolutely attribute a lot of my success to Choco for putting me over. There was a time when I would buy into this philosophy that I was only over because of Choco, but the more I took that lens off and began to understand all of the things, more self-love, so to speak, of appreciating what I was truly doing. Do I think that Choco helped put me over? 100%. Do I think I maintain that because of what I have the ability to do as a content creator? Yes. It took me a little while to accept that, because when a lot of people on the internet, and this goes out to anyone listening, you may look at me as a strong person, you may interact, and I have become a strong person, but we all have those similar mental issues, or insecurities or anxieties, when enough people tell it to you, or there's a group think involved, you start to somewhat believe it. I had to tune that out. I do agree that part of me at a certain time, I'm not sure which time you caught me, but certainly vulnerability, and that's okay to talk about this stuff. Certainly, there was a time when I thought, was it only Choco? Because when Choco and I stopped playing together, because content, learning the ebbs and flows and changing of partners and content and
Right.
games and stuff happens. There certainly was a time when my viewership dipped, and it was disheartening because what people don't know is I came from Xbox. When I played with Choco for the first time, I had no hours in PUBG. I actually lied to him. I was like, "Yeah, I'm good at PUBG, right? But I'm gonna take my shot." Right? And he was a great friend. Like
Right.
we also forget that Jake was a great friend. Like I visited him and I cared about him and I helped him make a lot of money.
Mhm.
But yeah, when he left, like I went through a really tough time.
When he left, like y'all divorced.
Yeah, right. When we broke up. When we broke up. No.
Whenever he
No,
left.
when he went to play with somebody else,
Yeah.
I became much more exposed at how bad I was at PC, and it really was a rough 6 months to a year because I had to get good at the game. But as a gamer and being good at games, like, from what I was to where I am, like I can game now. But
100%. Yeah, 100%.
to answer your point, yeah, of course. I think the internet culture, whether it's a Twitch chat or whether it's a Reddit post or a mean tweet, you're subjected to just random people you don't know, but you're so passionate about the industry, you can start to buy into these things, and you stop yourself from letting thoughts be thoughts. Sure, this person thought of this way or felt like saying it. I don't know what through their day, but you take those thoughts, you almost internalize them. You think 50,000 options about it instead of just letting that thought pass in front of you. So yeah, year 2 OGPickle, year 3 OGPickle, certainly would have taken that and thought 500,000 ways. Year 6 OGPickle is just that. When people say things, thoughts are just thoughts. It's okay not to engage them. I am the sky, and they are but clouds.
That's a good quote. That's a good quote. I'm assuming you just came up with that on the spot.
No,
you didn't get that from anyone.
No, I go to therapy. Like I'm down. I think therapy is super dope, and we spend enough time on the internet and life, and you balance all this shit. Sometimes it's good to have the mental gym. Like you see me working out and stuff, but the mental side is equally as important. And you just saw it in UFC. It's important to talk about.
That's a great point. Yeah,
it is awesome, man. I think it's great, and that was one of the things that always struck me is like, it's okay to be the sky, and these are but clouds, and the sky doesn't have to ask the clouds why they're clouds.
Ain't that the damn truth, man? Well, I'm happy to see that you've turned the corner and you've been on and continue on the up and up, especially mentally, because it is super important. And I think everyone has crisis once in a while. Everyone has depression once in a while. Like we don't need to go super far down that route, but like my point being, it's always okay to talk to somebody. It doesn't mean you're weak, right? Like I'm juggling 50,000 things on top of a family, on top of a hot sauce business, on top of like things a number
you guys
of
don't even
things.
know about. I'm like behind the scenes working with companies on NFTs. I'm like, I'm helping over here on the Lamo project that was back in the day with like Doc and Tim and stuff. Like I've got a whole bunch of things that isn't even make the front scenes of it. So my point being, as I digress on that, is just like, it's cool, man. It's not a weak thing to want to like reset your mind and find out ways that you can tap into more mitigation strategies and letting thoughts be thoughts and fun things like that. I'm a very big advocate of that, even on stream.
For sure. Yeah. And it's very important to be able to build up that social, not shield, but that defense of being able to let things roll off your back. Because at the end of the day, 99% of the people that say something to you on the YouTube comments or your Twitch chat or whatever, they know literally shit about you. They had never spoken to you. You've never spoken to them. Like, and a lot of them, they're just trying to get a rise out of you. Like they're literally just trying to get you flustered, and they may not even mean the thing they're typing. But it's so easy to read 100 great comments on a video, and then you read one bad comment, and you're like, man, fuck, is that person right? Did I do that wrong? Or like, whatever the case may be. And it's something you have to learn to do. It's a learned skill. Like no one just like born with that, able to just be like, oh, all right, cool, I'm good. Like, hey, give me the trash talk. It takes time. It takes freaking time.
It's a hindsight 2020 type thing, man. Like it is like so much. If you could go back in any case, in any business, in any experience, it's just one of those like. Maybe you react to one of those, and like a year later, you're like, why did I do that?
Why did I give my energy to that shit?
Yeah, but I think there is a trial by fire kind of thing. Like,
Yeah.
I do think somebody needs to go on a Facebook rant or have a Twitter back and forth or a Reddit just defense
Every
of
now
all
and then.
or a YouTube video defense of all comments.
Every now and then.
To understand, like, at the end of the day, it didn't fill that hole they thought they were creating.
Yeah, for sure. So you mentioned NFTs, and I'm interested to hear your thoughts because we've briefly touched on it, last time we were chatting on it. And I, again, as we said before, I don't know anything about NFTs. I've never bought an NFT, but I'm not opposed to the concept of NFTs in general, and specifically NFTs for gaming. And the reason why I say for gaming is because of DrDisrespect's new game with 12 AM Studios, the Midnight Society, or I guess it's codenamed like Moonlight now or something like that. I forget what the codename of the game is. But they're doing NFTs. And that's when I saw a lot of people kind of get involved in their comments and like a lot of flack blowing up about NFTs shouldn't be in games and all this. So can you break it down for us, easy peasy? What is an NFT and how does it work in video games?
Well, let's start from the other side. It's getting a lot of flack because it's a mainstream word and buzzword right now, and not a lot of people have done research on what it is. It's in layman's terms, it's just digital ownership of an asset, right? So let me break it down in an example. If you play a ton of PUBG, all right, and you buy a ton of skins, right? And you have a rare skin that PUBG had, like I know there was one that was like the autumn leaves or something like that.
Yep, the M4. Yeah,
you can't do anything. Like, what can you do with it? If somebody wants to buy that from you and they say, I need that, I want that really bad, I'll give you $500 for it. You can't do anything with it. You maybe can go to these like separate skin stores, but there's no.
You have to sell your whole account. Like you have your entire account. You have to sell.
But you're still living on one video game's account, right? You sell the whole account, but there's no individualization. Right. What NFTs do is provide a market value and a marketplace for whatever you'd like. In this instance, in terms of gaming, right? It's, hey, we have the skin that somebody wants, and I have the ability to sell it, and they can apply it and add it to their account, right? If PUBG 2 comes out, maybe they allow those NFTs to transfer. But right now, if a game lives and dies, that you lose everything you built. Yeah. Whether it's Fortnite skins, PUBG skins, it just doesn't make sense to continue this mantra that we're just okay pouring a ton of money into something, and then it dies and you can do nothing with it. Let me give you another example. Let's say Netflix comes out with an NFT, right? It's all about digital ownership. What's Netflix's number one problem right now? Probably that I have CDome's login, and CDome's sister has the login, and his cousin has it, and my cousin has it because I leaked it. And so what are they missing out on? Tons of subscriptions right now that they should be paying for, right? Like it's we're all laughing, but if
everyone does it.
Yeah, but go look at Netflix stock. It's kind of in the shit right now.
Yeah.
Right. But if they become an NFT, right? Now I have the digital ownership. I don't really want to give you my safe key, right? I don't want to give you my safe key.
Because I would have access to all your assets or whatever's in there. Yeah.
Exactly. Now let's take a step further. Let's say you're an avid moviegoer and Netflix wants to connect with you further. What if they had a Netflix Gold where there's only 10,000 of them? Right, same thing with docs. There's only 10,000 of them, but they start at $600, right? But if you buy one, now I can reward my holders. Once a month, I'm going to fly someone to a movie set. Once a month, I'm going to be able to let you guys vote on the new movies that are coming out or the ones we should remove. So like the things like The Office don't happen, right?
Right.
Or once a month, we're going to have an AMA with a famous director and you get special access. Okay, great. Some people might in this watching this podcast go, okay, so you're just like adding value. So yes, you are. But now what if somebody comes in and says, oh my gosh, CDome, you just had a baby. You're not using that as much as you thought. Someone is willing to pay you a market value of $5,000 now because they realize the rewards are so good, right? Now you make money. Netflix gets a rip every time that transfers, right? Because it's an NFT. They make money in perpetuity, right? So it's the front end sale and the perpetuity sale. And now everyone's making money. Now you have just, increased your value from holding it. You've had a deeper connection with Netflix. You flip to somebody else who's going to have a deeper connection to Netflix. And now everyone has the ability to increase revenue. On top of that, same thing goes with skins and gaming, right? If I have a skin and I'm done playing PUBG, what? Am I going to sell my account? Like,
probably not. I mean, yeah.
No, exactly. I'm going to see if I can liquidate it. If it's an NFT, now I can be like, CDome, you want to buy all 18 of these for, I don't know, $4,000 or $500? Like what?
Right.
all it is it provides somebody with an outlet for speculative value to meet a potential buyer, right? And on top of that, it proves that you own that asset. It's not just a screenshot of it. Like your digital data proves that you own it, right?
That
And
is
now
a
we have
little
the ability to
sketchy
make-
though, right? That people can like screenshot and basically
Okay,
have
but
the thing that you have. It's a
No.
little. It's not weird. It's a little
They
weird.
can't. How do they have that?
Like,
so
well,
I can take.
the most common thing is the shit you see on Twitter, like when people
Okay,
get like
I go
NFT
take a pic. I go to the
gorilla.
Louvre and I take a picture of the Mona Lisa. I go to the
Right.
Louvre and take a picture. Do I own
Right.
the Mona Lisa?
No, but if you printed it out and had like a one-to-one recreation
and then I
of
go
it,
all right, let's go to an auction house, and I bring that to the auction house. So they're not going to know it's a fake.
no,
Mona
it
Lisa?
will for sure be a fake.
Okay,
But
then when you go to the secondary market, they know it's a fake.
but there's a market for replicas though. Like I guess the easiest thing I can relate to the car market, because I'm really into cars. You take like an old school 427 Cobra, like one of 1,000 Cobras. They like you almost can't find one for sale. But there's a huge market of manufacturers that make replicas, like one-for-one replicas of those cars, and they sell for half the cost, but it's still a shitload of money, half of whatever 2 million, the others will sell for. So then like the original people aren't gonna get that same market share because everyone's gonna go get the cheaper replicas.
It doesn't work like that.
It doesn't go that way.
No, there are verified accounts that the company, but the replicas don't receive the rewards or any kind of the incentive that holding the NFT does. Like there's a million replicas out there, but none of them are verified. No, like they're all just like crap. Like,
right.
Of course, I can take a picture of something and try to resell it and trick somebody, but there's so many triggers involved that, for one, if you just look up like the Ethereum, like who owns this on the Ethereum blockchain, it tells you who it is. So if I need,
it tells you a name.
Like saying, yeah, it tells you your public wallet address. It doesn't have your name attached to it, but you can see that it is owned by a certain identity. So if you screenshot my Bored Ape and you're like gonna list it,
right?
First of all, you're listing it under like a bull crap, like crappy eBay version account that everyone's gonna be like, okay, this guy's like full of crap.
Right.
It's very identifiable. But two, if I wanted to verify it, I can literally just go to the blockchain and be like, yeah, that's not the real one, bud.
Well, what if I just wait, so I couldn't just tell you, that's my secondary account that I'm selling from, like that. It doesn't work like that.
So being so new on this, you have to sell on a secondary marketplace, and the secondary marketplace provides a hell amount of check marks that would not allow that to happen. Like it would be fraudulent in a half. You know what I mean? Like it's not listed under the category and assume what you're talking about is like profile picture esque because
whatever the case may be. I don't know. I'm just throwing an example out.
Stuff. Yeah, I understand. Certainly people have gone that route and they try to trick people, but it's not like the ability to trick. Like a replica car is still a replica body. A replica NFT yields and results none of the benefits. That'd be like saying I took a picture of a PUBG skin gun and sold it to you, and you're not going to be able to play it in game now.
Yeah.
Like, no shit.
Yeah.
You sold me a picture. So the same
That's true. It's not tangible.
But the same threats the same concerns and threats you have. All right, I take a picture of a PUBG skin gun and I put it on a fake account and I go, hey, CDome, you want to buy this? I'll buy this account. Look, there's the guns I have, and you buy that account and it has nothing on it.
Yeah.
Is the same concern that you have for NFTs. Of course that shit happens, but think of all the mechanisms in place that would prevent that from happening.
All the fail safes that would like stop.
Yeah, you're not brain dead, bro. You look and see like, hey, that's not in a collection with anything else.
But yes, somebody else might be silly enough.
Sure. That now with any new market, I will yield to you. With any new market, there's a ton of scammers. There's a ton of people who are not proficient in understanding MetaMask, understanding blockchain, understanding Web3 in general. So yeah, those scams happen, and those scams compile to what streamers and gamers go, this doesn't need to be.
That's the negative part. Yeah.
But there's scams everywhere, bro. Like,
in everything. Yeah, in everything
you do. I get a scam every day on Twitter. Hey, click this link and check it out.
Like, go to any Elon Musk tweets. The first 50 tweets after his tweet is like scam link.
Bitcoin, click here.
Right,
deposit 50. Yeah. So my point is, what I would end on is saying, always be curious. There's a lot of people that are skeptical and have 0 hours of research in it. There's no secret why Coca-Cola is coming out with NFTs. Netflix is coming out with NFTs. Doc has a new thing with NFT. This proprietary technology will change the shape of the world. I'm not saying
of the world.
Oh yes.
Oh damn. Okay.
Everything becomes a digital asset. Everything becomes ownable, transferable, purchasable. Like bro. It is.
But isn't everything already ownable, transferable, purchasable?
In a certain physical world, yeah, but in the digital space, no.
It's like where I get sucked in is Ready Player One type shit. Like that's where it clicks for me, and I'm like, oh, that's a fucking no brainer. I want in on that. Like, because thinking about like your digital avatar, if your digital avatar was available across all platforms, and anything you purchased in the online world followed your online avatar, persona, whatever the case may be, that kind of stuff makes perfect sense to me. But where I kind of get like confused or lost is like, let's say I buy a Bored Ape picture, and let's say I buy also like there's some apparently like digital real estate you can buy and shit, like that's way over my head.
I own a bunch of digital real
okay
estate.
So like, all right, so let's say you own all this digital stuff, but then the metaverse comes out with Mark Zuckerberg's crap and everyone lives in the metaverse. Does all the stuff you purchased over here, the online real estate and shit, does that transfer over to that, or is that just like its own separate platform? You have to be in that ecosystem to use all that crap that you bought and sold or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, there's a lot you just said. First of all, Mark Zuckerberg's spot is just called Meta. In layman's terms, the metaverse is a fallacy right now. A metaverse would be like Fortnite skins are transferable to Call of Duty. Like
now we're talking, Pickle.
Yeah,
now we're talking. See, that kind of shit makes sense.
The problem is companies have IP and they want to protect their sales.
But you said everyone shares sales, right? Like everyone who sells it shares it over? No, so there's an initial sale, right? Mm-hmm.
Like, so if Call of Duty offered a skin, the initial sale happens,
right?
The secondary sale happens on what we call OpenSea, which is a marketplace sort of like Amazon that you log into, you have an account, and then you can flip it, right?
Okay.
But no matter how many times that's flipped, a portion of the proceeds go back to Call of Duty. Like, it has no bearing on Fortnite. Yeah, but how would Fortnite make money off of that?
Well, because
Call of Duty?
I'll tell you why. Thank you for asking. Because every company
shared revenue.
Well, no, every company would make their own set of skins. So, like, Fortnite pulls out their winter themed skins for 2022, and Call of Duty said, "Well, we just put out your Thanksgiving themed skins for 2022," but they transfer over to both games. So anyone who buys Call of Duty's Halloween skin or Thanksgiving skin, you can use that on Fortnite. So Fortnite gets a portion of the players that are buying that stuff.
You would have to set the smart contract up to do that.
Right.
So right now, that's not how it works, right?
Well, it should.
Okay, yeah.
Let's set it up. If it's going to change the fucking world, I need to be able to goddamn buy stuff in Fortnite and play it in Call of Duty, you know?
If publishers come to that agreement, yes, that would be harmony. Do I think they'll get there?
Not at all.
Maybe. I don't know. I think not at all. Why does Fortnite need Warzone? Maybe you could make an argument for active player bases dabbling in both games now and then leeching off each other. So I mean, I'm sure. Yeah, sure.
What about?
I think I could
explain to me how it makes sense, because this part is a kind of a stickler to me. Why does the original seller always get a cut going forward? Like, why is that? Because that's like the government. Like they turn into the government.
The original seller. It's the original creator. So I guess original seller. So I'm Mitch. I'm an artist, or I'm a company that sells these NFTs.
Right.
Why? I mean, that's why smart contracts. They don't have to, but the ability of smart contracts, which will be a massive part of our world moving forward, you can write in there that you get a portion of the proceeds. Right.
Forever.
My question is why wouldn't you want that?
No, you as the seller would certainly want that, but like me as the
buyer, why do you care? Every time you use a credit card on anything, Visa gets a percentage of it. Every time you buy something off Shopify or sell it, they get a percentage of it. Like, what the problem is? Here's what I really think the problem is. A lot of people are mad at the ability of these NFTs, but don't realize they do it every time you spend a credit card. Visa gets a rip. Chase gets a rip.
Not for me.
Yeah, they do.
No,
what do you think
the company
processing fee?
That's the company that I'm buying it from. They pay a processing fee. That's why they say no credit card sometimes.
All right. So you don't have a credit card. You go to Chase or whatever. Every time you use that credit card, they get a rip, bro, because you didn't have that credit card.
Every time I go to say that again.
So every time you use your credit card, whoever you are, they get a processing fee from you.
From
part
me?
of what you pay. Yeah, part of what your bill. Go look at your processing.
I don't look
fees
at
on your
bills.
bill. That's what I'm saying. All right, you're a Shopify seller. You build
Okay.
CDome.com and you sell something. Go look how much Shopify takes on every one of your sales, and that sales goes to the customer.
But that's Shopify. Like if you go to Old Navy and you buy a pair of pants with an American Express credit card, if the pair of pants is $27.99, I'm gonna pay $27.99 plus tax as the buyer of those pair of pants. I don't pay $27.99 plus my state, local tax, federal tax, whatever, and an American Express fee. Old Navy pays a credit card fee for me using a credit card at their store.
You don't think they have that marked up in the price? Like you don't think
okay, no, I'm sure they do, but like that would have to be baked
smart
in.
About it.
That would have to be baked in, you know, as opposed to if you paid cash, no one has cash, but you use a debit card or you paid cash, then you're still paying the same cost of that item, but they don't pay that fee to the merchant, you know, the bank or whatever.
Correct, but that's not what the NFT example in this is the credit card, because you don't have one. If you have cash, you don't need the credit card, right? So the difference is you're charging. Like that's what I'm saying is every one of these examples, like that happens in everyday life. Like, okay, if it's an NFT and it's art, of course I want to make more money in that. And okay, that's not the case if you want to apply it to something else. But like these fees that we're talking about allow businesses to become more profitable, whether we like it or not.
Right,
every
the business
is going to see that,
not the buyer. Yeah.
Well, the buyer is speculative. So like, I could buy. The difference here is, all right, you're assuming that I buy an Old Navy pants for $27.99 and it depreciates. These values come from the companies where they provide incentives or rewards. Like an example, Netflix. You could have bought that for $500 and got one of 10,000. Like I got one of the docs like things. That thing minted was X. It's probably going to go way up because they're providing a video game, access to doc, access to these assets, access to things, voting rights for the game. Like those things make it really fucking cool. And now someone's going to come to me like, Pickle, I want that. I'll give you 10 grand for it. I just made, like, I don't give a shit what they make on the 2 to 3% because I just made 9,900.
Shouldn't
Why?
you? Because
I wouldn't
you
have
own
had access to that project without.
Yeah, but you own it now.
I do own it, right? But
yeah,
they get a small, like that's just part of the trade.
But is that long? I think that's long term. That's going to get phased out because like if you look at like anything, literally anything else you buy, if you go buy a car from Ford, you buy
physical.
You say physical, but if everything's going digital, like that's going to be the new physical. Like that is the new thing. It's you own it. You own it.
Go to your cousin right now and ask him. You can pull up in a Ferrari on your 13-year-old cousin and ask if he gives a shit. He's not going to give a shit about that Ferrari, bro. They want to be in Fortnite. They want skins. They want, bro. Somebody's digital. Like these kids, younger generation, Gen Z and Gen Y. Bro, I'm telling you. Their digital persona is way more important in their life than anything. Go.
I'm not disagreeing with you on that. I'm not disagreeing. What I'm trying to
Ferrari and see if they go wow like you.
I don't give a f if they don't care. I love my Ferrari. What I'm trying to say is if I buy that Ferrari, I pay the Ferrari price. And when I go to register it, I pay my state tax, I pay the federal tax, all that kind of stuff. If I go to sell that car, I also have to, I profit whatever I profit, but then when I go to do my taxes at the end of the year, I have to put that I sold that car for whatever X amount of dollars. And, I pay a fee to the government for selling that car and making whatever profit.
I pay the government too for all my NFTs. Yeah.
Right. But so you pay the government. And then at the same time, if that Ferrari was an NFT Ferrari, I would have bought the Ferrari, paid my taxes on buying the item. Then if I go sell that same Ferrari, I got to go pay Ferrari, the maker of the NFT, a sale fee for selling the Ferrari I already bought and paid fees for. That doesn't seem a little like janky.
It totally is. But the other instances, you can set that to 0.
You could, but you just said companies are not dumb enough to do that because they want that revenue, like why would they?
100% they're going to want the revenue. So,
right.
So if you're asking me a moral question about is it janky?
I guess it kind of is a moral question, but that's
sure.
That's where a lot of the, not a lot, that's where some of the negative connotation about it, like in gaming or whatever, about people who are passionate about NFTs.
They don't even know about it. They
do now. Thousands of people are going to see this in 10 years.
Yeah, I agree with that. What they get janky about is the FaZe Clan shit. Like they pump a coin and they dump on them.
Yeah, you see, that's tough.
And a lot of people, a lot of people are relating cryptocurrency scam shit coins to what NFTs are, and they just completely shut out doing any research.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point.
I think here's where we'll pause this conversation. We can both agree right now, a relatively new industry, right? There are pros right now, and there are some cons that maybe you would fix. But overall, we can see that there's a new industry paving. It's no different than back in the day when Elon Musk came up with the first Tesla. You said, there are some pros here, and there's some really bad cons. It's just a new industry. You're in the infancy of some new stage of tech that's coming out as far as digital ownership, smart contracts, the ability to create revenue where it wasn't, the ability to sell something that you couldn't have before. And it's a beautiful thing. Does it need work? I'm not so blind that I can't say yes. What I am saying is it's so new. You just have to understand, like, this is how the world is working right now.
The kinks got to get worked out for sure.
It's no different than getting away from the gold standard with the dollar. Like, there are kinks. There was inflation and currency changes and all kinds of things that had happened, and the dollar took many different forms for a long time over the past 100 years.
It kind of still is. I mean, like the price of the dollar,
talking about the gas pumps right now.
The fucking oil prices, bro. I tell you.
Talking about oil prices right now.
All right. Well, look, let's switch gears just a little bit, because I do want to go talk about the Midnight Society, because I also was quote unquote chosen. To be one of the founders, and I paid it's like what, $50 or whatever the hell it was, like to buy
mint.
Yeah, like whatever, to get one of the 10,000 things, whatever the hell it was. So I have one of those. I'm a founders member, and the reason why I did it personally is not because of the NFT aspect, which I'm curious about, I'm open to, and I think there is potential there. I did it to be a founders member. A, to be able to provide input and get early access to the game. But B, I think it's just kind of cool to be part of like the ground roots development of, and I say part of, you're such a small fraction, but part of the ground roots development of what could be like the next big thing, the next big title or whatever.
It's so funny that you say you're against NFTs, but have just named 5 benefits.
I never said I was against NFTs.
I know, but I'm saying, like, you're speculative, but you just named all the benefits of being attracted to NFTs. You're a grassroots member. We should back up. I want to make sure this is clear. I like to play devil's advocate with everything in life. I always say do first, ask for permission later. So I let's try everything out. If it sucks, if it's shit, then I'm gonna say it's shit. But I'm curious to try it out first. You'd be a shit lawyer. You're like, my guy's guilty, and here's the 5 reasons
why. He fucking did it.
Yeah. So access, pre-order the game, voting rights, input,
all that stuff.
Feeling grassroots, access to Discord. Yeah, that's literally NFTs.
Okay, so I'm in NFTs. All right, so contact me for your next NFT purchase. Okay, no.
Done.
So you are also in the Midnight Society Founders Group. And I guess I probably should back up just a second too. For those who don't know, DrDisrespect, he's a streamer. If you haven't seen him, he made, or I guess did he co-found, or did he like make himself the Midnight Society, the production company. 12 a.m. is the name of their freaking thing, right? Yeah, at 12 a.m. It's their new studio. It's a AAA game studio. Which, can you say you have a AAA game studio without ever making a game that goes AAA rated? I didn't think. Okay.
You have AAA members. You have former AAA
that's just
members.
Me. I don't know shit about shit, but I'm just saying.
You're going to talk it up. Right. It's the best of the best.
But it's literally in their like Twitter description, like AAA game studio. Yeah, the best ever. But they did say they put out a roadmap in an LA Founders event. Are you going to like the okay? Well, I don't know how in you were with the the founder stuff. Obviously, it's in LA, so I'm in Louisiana, a different LA. I ain't going, but. What DrDisrespect is putting together is, I'll just read this short little 2-sentence thing about the synopsis of the game. Witness the birth of Project Moon, our first vertical extraction shooter, is what they're titling as, vertical extraction shooter. Our high-level gameplay goals are to capture the essence of an arena shooter level design with the scale and scope of a battle royale player count, and the session-to-session gameplay mechanics from an extraction-based shooter. Now, what I get from that is they're taking best of PUBG, best of Tarkov, because he's been playing a lot of Tarkov, and the best from CSGO or Valorant, whatever arena shooter, if you will. And so they're kind of
Halo.
making some little, or Halo, yeah.
Splitgate.
Split. Come on, stop. I said the best of. And so they're kind of blending into this one massive new experience, and obviously, it could be complete shit water, but it also could be like freaking badass from the sounds of it. Like you could have these really tight levels, and then like you have to advance to each level and keep like working your way up this tower as the theoretical zone is closing in, and then figure out a way to get you and your team extracted off of the big building, and maybe you get loot that you bring back to your loot base, like on Tarkov. I think it has a lot of cool elements in it that could kind of like scratch the itch for a lot of people who love different parts of a lot of those genres.
Yeah, I think the gaming market's yearning for a lot of mechanics from games to apply to other. The people that complain about Apex, want mechanics that Warzone has, or people that are in PUBG certainly want things that are in, a revive mechanic comes to mind, right? So there's a lot of aspects that I think that there is merit to wanting to try. I'm interested to see how it all comes together, if it comes together efficiently, if it's clunky. But I certainly think that the gaming industry right now, I think for me personally, is a little. I don't know that it's stale per se. It just feels a lot of the same, and I feel that I'm excited for a project like this because it is implementing the changes that I say that I want. But it also worries me in somewhat because it's almost like a sundae that you add all these toppings to because you think it sounds good to mix them. And by the time you get to the final product, you're like, this is pretty heavy and clunky, and I don't know if I actually want all this.
These gummy bears aren't floating on this banana boat too much.
There's something to be said about simplicity.
Yeah.
Like, I think there's something to be said about simplicity.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Look, I'm keeping an open mind. I think it's great. I do worry, like I said, if there's like we're biting off more than we can chew with all these parts. But if they've hired the devs that they say they have, and that they're applying all the things that they've learned in a really serious manner, I don't see why we should not be excited about it just because it's an NFT based game.
Yeah, well, take that part of it out. You don't have to be involved in the NFT part of it. It's still a video game that you're going to have to, I'm assuming, pay to buy. Like I don't think it'll be free to play. Maybe, I don't know. Well, you can still do everything else you traditionally would in a normal video game. And if you want the NFT aspect, hey, it's got that too. But I got to go back. Your comment about the freaking Sunday thing is so goddamn funny, man, because I was that kid. Like when I would go to get ice cream at those places you can put whatever you want on it, I'd put everything on it, and I'd be like, this is the coolest thing ever. It's a $35
it looks great.
Ice cream, and it's disgusting, or like you go to those drink machines that have like the digital flavors of every and I just get a little vanilla. You start getting everything. You taste like, this is disgusting. But the idea of it, like, the best parts of all that, I just thought that was really funny. You said that made me chuckle. Let me think back.
I look, I'm an optimist, so I'll go into it with high hopes. I'm excited. I hope the game runs flawlessly. I just think from a realistic aspect, all those things you just mentioned seems like a lot, and I guess only time will tell how it comes out, and if it comes out well. I'm rooting for him. I really am. Obviously passionate about the project.
They said if you're part of the founders group like we are, you're going to have access to content snapshots every 6 weeks. And the first snapshot, which is basically a alpha demo that you can download and apparently live stream and that kind of stuff too. But that starts, I think, in like five weeks from now, or like 4 weeks. Like, so pretty soon from now, people around the world are going to get their first look and hands-on onto their early builds of the game, which I think is really freaking cool. And you can start every 6 weeks. So that's like it's a pretty close development cycle. I mean, I would say being able to every month and a half play the game,
I'm excited about it. I also know from just watching E3 or like the Xbox announcements and stuff, things that we see in a sort of a vacuum of like, here's our development footage, oftentimes doesn't always add up to what it actually looks like. You know what I mean? So So I take that with a grain of salt. Like, I'm excited. I think visibility and communication is key. I think that's huge on this project, and I think that's what they're trying to offer: transparency from the first time from a developer. Hey, let's vote on this. Let's talk about it. Let's have a true group discussion on what we think from the people that we entrust as the sort of pseudo best of the best in the industry to be involved,
right,
and give us feedback. But I also can't help but think about like E3 when we watch like cyberpunk footage of like what we saw it look like and like what it actually ended up being.
Yeah, because they showed us this little snippet, this small little snippet of the game. They had a chance to polish and everything, and then you get the full product, and it's a half-baked game until 3 years later, and then it's like, oh, this is what we wanted to do for the whole shebang. How confident are you that they take everyone's feedback from the game and they aren't just put it on a front, that the founders are having feedback into the game and are able to dictate or determine how the development goes? Like, do you really think that that's true? They'll take yours and ours, my feedback, or are they really going to stick to the dev team and maybe a few niche, big content creators and esport pros and that kind of stuff and take their feedback, and the rest is just kind of a smokescreen?
Well, I think there's always like the closest to the sun, type mentality that they have the loudest voice in the room. Certainly, I think larger content creators have access to Doc may influence, but I've seen this type of mentality with a lot of other major projects in the NFT space. Like, voting is real. They're proposals. They're put up by the group. The group votes on it, and the ones that get passed are supposed to be taken into account with the game. So if it's like, we want to revive mechanic and 5,500 people vote on it and it's more than 50%, they're supposed to take it into account and apply it. And
Okay.
I believe they will. I think this is a big part of Doc's reputational play. This isn't just a PR play either. I really think he's putting everything on the line here and having to do the route. Like, they were very methodical and meticulous about who they picked to get involved.
Mm-hmm.
Your responses were critical. What you answered were critical. It was almost like taking a test for people that applied. I mean, they had 200, 300, 400,000 people apply, and they only picked
10,000.
10,000.
Yeah.
So I think they really will stick to their guns here. I think they're trying to provide the first Web3 based AAA quote unquote publisher game that really does what they say they do. And if they don't, you're just going to lose. As much as you disagree with it, Midnight Society wants to make those flips and trades and money on every. So if there's no utility and they're not taking into account stakeholders, they're only going to hurt themselves.
Right. The risk on the Doc's reputation, it's got to be astronomical here. Because you don't think, like, I mean, for being someone who's obviously a bit of a persona, but like trash talks on pretty much every video game he plays, and now he decided I can do it way better than you, and it's his name on it. You don't think that has a bit of weight to it, that like, if the game, I don't think it will, but if it does flop, and I mean flops hard, you don't think that's going to hurt him at all? Or is he already like past that point of none of the other shit can really affect me? I am who I am. My fans love me for who I am. And like none of the other stuff really matters. I think
I live in that camp. I think Doc has had much worse things happen in his life in multiple controversies. One where he had to leave Twitch voluntarily. One where he left involuntarily. And I think he bounces back just as hard.
Which I heard that the answer to why Twitch banned Doc the most recent time, right? If you wanted to share that now. Oh, no, okay. All right, I don't know if you want to breaking news or anything, so okay.
I don't want to lose my founders. I think Doc is a PR genius. I think no matter what he's gone through, think he just continues on, and it's that stark confidence that is the reason he's so successful, right? He's not only a creative and is super well at it, but the navigation of the alpha male personality amidst anything, I think if it flopped, he would just continue moving forward, and there would be some kind of candid response of like, it didn't work because of this, not me.
Right, not me. Yeah.
I just think he's largely untouchable at this point. He will go on these platforms until he feels like not going, and until that day, he will continue generating fans and revenue.
I agree with you. How many other things do you think he's got his hands in? Because I know you mentioned earlier in the podcast that you got other things cooking in the background that we don't know nothing about. And you got to imagine someone with his kind of access and leverage is doing a lot of different things. He had the book, an audio book, which I bought and /audio read or whatever. And I thought it was really good. That's it. And I thought it was actually really good. And then I know he's mentioned like wanting to do like cartoon TV show kind of stuff. Like he's got to be doing all kinds of crap in the background. Like the whole streaming is just like, this is what I got to do to kind of keep it going. But I guarantee he's got so many other things cooking in the back that we just have no idea about.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I mean, did you expect him to announce a video game coming out? I didn't. So,
well, you say I didn't expect him to say I've created a studio. Like I maybe kind of thought I'm working with Studio X to help make the next thing. Not like, hey, I'm developing a studio. Who wants to join me? And like, boom, like I'm doing it.
I don't know, bro. Again, I come back to knowing how this works behind the scenes in the industry. Like, have you seen Prime, like Logan Paul's Prime drink? Like it's the new like Gatorade. Like, all right, well, that's an example. Or my hot sauce. Like, did I create my hot sauce from scratch? No, but that's the impression I gave you because until you asked, it's kind of a don't ask. Like,
gotcha.
Do I really think Doc came and decided to spend his own money to develop a AAA? No. What I believe happened is somebody's approached him just like every other influencer in the world. Like, do you think Mr. Beast had the idea solely to create all these Mr. Beast burgers? Like
in the chocolate bar? Yeah, that was his idea.
Yeah, I'm sure Feastables didn't come to him and go, let's collaborate. So what I really believe happened is somebody gets a load of capital from a Series A investor, and they come and they say, hey, I want to develop this, but I want you to be my megaphone. I want you to take all the credit. I don't need to be rich, or I don't need to be king. I just want to be rich.
Right.
And look, I've just spent too much time in the industry to know how this really works on the back end.
Sure. Okay.
Somebody probably came to him and said, we have this idea. You want to get in? You're going to be our front face of this. You can take all the credit. I mean, that happens so often. It's scary. And I think while I believe Doc probably has a ton of input in it, I also know how the stuff, like, how do you think Shroud went to Logitech and was like, I need you to make me the Shroud mouse, right? Like,
of course not.
Come on, like let's break this back into layman's terms. Like most people, it
sucks, by the way, Shroud. It's not my cup of tea. I gotta sell it. If anybody wants it, I'm selling it.
I have one too. The pointer fingers are really close.
It's just too small of a mouse for me, dude.
It's like I literally hold it like this, and like the pointer fingers are like this far apart.
Yeah,
like,
it's too small of a mouse for me. I tried it just to say I tried it, but yeah, it's not for me. But okay, I hear what you're saying, and that makes total sense. But isn't it also kind of like a risk? Is that, hey, you be the face of our thing, you take all the glory, but if it fails, like didn't Pokimane did or was it Pokimane? Maybe it wasn't her. I'm maybe thinking of was it Ray? Valkyrie with the face, the blue light face makeup or something. Didn't one of them do that recently? Where like they were like campaigning this blue light makeup, and then everyone was like, this is total bullshit. And like they had to like pull out of it last minute, and then they got all this negative publicity. And they're fine now, but at the time it was like, can't believe you put your name on this thing and you didn't, vet it and all that shit.
How many controversies do you remember as the news cycle goes a week later? Like how many times does like you just don't remember any of it? So one, how much money did they make to do that? Probably a shit ton. I bet Doc I made a shit ton. I bet they're like, hey, we're going to mitigate this risk that you are the face by paying you $10 million. Thanks. Appreciate you. Cha-ching, you're done. Right. So even if it fails, you're good. And two, I had this conversation with a really large influencer, and I'm going to leave this one unnamed, but
it was me, by the way, if it was wondering.
Yes, it was CDome. He was commenting on what Logan Paul was going through at the time, like with the forest video and things that came out. Okay. And he said, and I'm going to paraphrase here, what I would have done is like just said sorry and moved on, because people will forget about it in about a week. And that same thing applies to everything you're saying. Like, cool, like you remember the Valky thing? That doesn't hurt you the same way it would have hurt last week.
Right.
Like how many customers really dropped off? How many fans really stopped going? How many people stopped going to the concert? Like, it's easy to talk about because we live in this like social media vacuum, but at the end of the day, like largely a vast majority of fans probably didn't care. Yeah, it was probably some fans that were just vocal and took social.
Probably not even fans. Probably non-fans were more vocal than the fans were. Like people like.
But the point still being, the news cycle moves. There's enough stuff that happens every week. So and so is going to get in a controversy next week. So and so is going to get knocked out in a boxing match. So and so is going to like do something controversial on stream. Like someone's going to get suspended. It's just like there's too many things happening in our world that stuff like. I don't even think about failures because they move on so quick from them.
So fast. Yeah. Couldn't be more right. Couldn't be more right. What do you think about? Let's obviously change gears a little bit here. What do you think about the new? I say the new because it is. It feels new. It feels refreshing. The new PUBG, like within the past 6-7 months, the new face of PUBG with its free to play and the new map and these new features that they're trying to incorporate from other popular games and stuff. Like, have you been really on board with it still, or are you kind of like waning off of PUBG?
I think I appreciate your internal optimism and commitment the same way I think I appreciate Wacky Jackie and how he goes about it. I think the game is I think that the numbers tell the story. I think we have a lot of really great ideas. We still have too many queues. We still have not enough voting or input or considerations based on region. And I think maps are great. I think they're a great way to kind of dead cat bounce some of the player base, but I still think Steam tells all. Right, free to play was great. I still think and without like I'm still appreciative of everything PUBG did for me. I don't want to jeopardize anything or relationship with PUBG, but I'm being constructive here. I do believe that there was a lot of potential errors that happened when we had free to play. We had a huge bounce in player base. The battle pass didn't come out for multi months. There was nothing available. There wasn't a revive mechanic that players coming from other games who are used to that were coming. And I do believe that inherently PUBG is one of the most satisfying games to win. The gunplay is unreal, but I also think there's a changing shift in the way that battle royales are played that we don't cater to the general population. We have too many players that are they're such diehards about like, well, I don't want revive because this is a survival game. Dang it! And it's like, okay, but like, look at the contrast of player base. Apex you can revive. Warzone you can revive. Like every
Literally
game has
every
revive.
other game,
Right. So
every
when
other
you
one.
have these casuals that just like are dudes that get off work from 9 to 5, they want to play from 7 to 9 with their homies and go to bed because they got to get up early. Like we don't have that player base. In fact, we have player bases that feel the exact opposite. They're like, I'd rather see this game die than have a revive mechanic. It's like, whoa, dude, like, then you don't actually care, right?
Right.
So to answer your question, like, will I always love PUBG? Yeah, I think the gunplay is of the most satisfying. I think the strategy and the streamability is massive. Like you can talk to your chat because the mid games can be such a lull at times. Like you have the ability to interact.
Right.
But that being said, there's not. It's not by coincidence that some of our biggest streamers in the game have left. Right? It's not a coincidence that they've stopped playing or moved away or moved on to different games. Like there are some very difficult things to look, including stutters and crashes and things beyond that, that are driving a player base away. So I think it's to me, if you're asking me, it's near and dear.
I'm asking you. Yeah.
To put my business hat on, it's in a more rough spot than I think we give it credit for.
Do you think that it is just our region or a couple of regions? Because you look at like Asia player base and it's quote unquote thriving. Like, maybe it wasn't as high as it was in 2017, 2018, but it's doing fine. They have plenty of players and plenty of need and want for cosmetics and all that kind of stuff. So is it just like our region has kind of moved on and like they are now into Warzone or they're now into Apex or whatever? Do you think that's it? Or like, do you think if PUBG 2 came out, like all those people would come back and be like, thank God, like find the game that I really loved is back and improved now?
No, I think you nailed it. Look, the US market is such a different market than any other. Like what you've referenced is both cultural in regard to like the games that they play and their cosmetic purchase and how they approach that. But two, like they're not competing in Southeast Asia as much with Warzone or Apex or some of these other major games. Like we'll compare the statistics, right? NA is competing with 5 other battle royales happening at the same time, and we're just categorically different style players. Like I some of the stats that I've read have said like Asia's like they're gamers, man. Like they spend much more hours per day than we. Like we're much more casual with gaming. Like we all game, and there's a lot of a generalized pool, but it's much more casual in a certain circumstance. In the sense that not only are we competing with all these games that you have the options to play, and that creates a fatigue, but two, and I don't want to pinpoint it down to just like revive mechanics.
No,
but I'll
no,
just say
no.
the mechanics as a whole, for better or for worse, in certain games, cater to players who have an easier time immediately getting good at it, immediately having satisfaction from it, immediately being able to jump in.
Yep.
And I really think that problem, in combination with the fact that the NA player base has an average of probably like 1,500 hours now, I couldn't just bring a friend who's never played into the game now. I would be I think you and I both can agree. If our cousin was like, "Hey, I want to try PUBG," he'd be like, "I don't know if that's a game you want to try, bro. Like, you're about to get like somebody."
Yeah.
In our game, there is no like loadout system to try to like aim assist and help and like cater to this, which is fine. Like, I appreciate that, but
some like arcade mode and stuff. I mean, there's a little bit. There's a little bit.
Our players are getting fucking beamed with an AUG out the side of a car going 70 miles per hour down a highway.
Stay in your house.
65.
Get back in your window.
Right, and then we flame you for staying back in your house because you're a rat. Right, like we are not. We're like we don't know what we want. Our identities shifted in it. So I think there's a lot of factors there.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I've struggled with this for a long time, and I know obviously pretty much every other content creator has too, but I genuinely wish I loved Warzone. I wish I enjoyed playing that game more. I wish I enjoyed playing Apex more, because
Warzone streamers don't even like Warzone, bro.
Well, okay, but props to them for being able to push through it, but like for me, I know that the kind of content I put out on PUBG or on Twitch for PUBG and even more specifically on YouTube, because the algorithm for growth is way, way better, obviously, on YouTube. But I just know that, man, if I did what I did now 4 years ago with PUBG when it was big, or if I did what I did now on the next bigger game, if I was passionate about it, things would be way different. But it's so hard for me to make that mental sacrifice of like not enjoying myself just for the sake of growth, you know? And I struggle with you mentioned hats, personal hat, business hat. I struggle with that because I know that if my business hat was on, I'd be telling myself, hey, stupid, go play the next popular game like every other streamer does. Literally look at Tim the Tatman, Doc, like any big, small, middle, you go and play the new popular game and you kind of go with the flow and you create content for the new thing. But my personal hat, I'm like, man, I just fucking love PUBG. I do. It's one of my favorite games of all time. And it's like, it's a blessing and a curse.
Well, the difference is they have the luxury of community that follows them. I mean, that's why big platforms pay them to try to bring some of that over.
Yeah.
The difference is if you have, I'll use myself as an example. I average like 60, 70 viewers. If I left the game,
which is can we just say it's a goddamn lot, by the way? I know it doesn't sound like a lot when we mention names like Tim the Tatman and Doc.
It's hard to get
60 or 70, dude. That's like you're in the top less than 1% of Twitch viewership. You know,
but if I left, I'd go down to like 10 to 20 maybe.
Right.
Like there's people that just like me. The difference is we don't have the luxury to make that business decision because with viewers, like you have to almost restart when you go to a new game, right? Like if I went to Warzone right now and I wasn't playing with like influencers and stuff, like I would have a very slow progression of growth because the algorithm is working against you. And we know that in order to grow, you almost have to, look, I'll be transparent. You almost have to like, I don't want to say steal, like you have some kind of like agenda, but like if you play with like, the object of, playing with somebody who's bigger than you is to try to get people to come over and check your product out and stay or visit and spend more time. It's not like there's an influx of new PUBG streamers that are actively seeking to go check out new content. Likewise, in Warzone or a brand new game, they don't just gravitate to go like, hey, I'm going to go seek a small streamer today. Like the algorithm doesn't work with you. It works against you. So it's just really tough to reset and get into a new game.
So you brought up a couple of good points. We got to kind of break down and dissect. So first, the whole playing with quote unquote bigger streamers, that's a tough one because 99% of the time it'll never work if you as the smaller person are initiating it. It just doesn't work because the bigger streamer usually has some kind of, whether it's we all have a bit of an ego or a bit of like a shield, like what's this other person wanting from me? Do they truly want to vibe with me and like create good content and just hang, or do they, like you said, think that, oh man, if I could just play some games with so and so, some of their viewers would come over to my stream and blah, 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 you know? So it's like a weird mental game.
I think it comes down to what you offer. I don't care personally, like, you know, being a 70 viewer streamer, I can play with like someone that's 1,000, no problem. But the difference is, what are you offering in return? I think a lot of people don't ask that question themselves. Like, all right, you want to go play with someone much bigger than you. You have to assess, like, what are you offering? What are you bringing value in return to them? It's not so much an ego or a shield. It's, I've built this community and I've worked really hard for it. Give me a reason, a valid reason, a really strong case of why you should play with me. I'm not a jerk. I just have a lot of people to play with.
Right.
So if a 5-person viewership comes to me and says, like, hey, I want to play with you, it's like, my initial response as a human is not like, no way, I have an ego.
Right.
My initial response is, as a businessman on the other side, is like, okay, what value are you providing? Are you up and coming? You making this dope ass content? Like, can we vibe? Like, certainly there's plenty of people I can vibe with, but also it's tough to decipher in a way who's there for an agenda, who's there to be genuine. And even if you're genuine, sometimes the answer, that's not good enough. Unfortunately, in our business, sometimes that's just not good enough. There has to be some kind of value associated. So again, I use that example. If you're going to try to play with someone bigger than you without working the ranks of like a 5-player person, 5-viewer plays with a 10, then you get to 10, you try to get to 20, and then play with 40, and then play with 100, right? If you're going to go shoot your shot, you certainly have to make a case of what value you can bring. In my case, Choco played with me because I was making his merch. Now, that's a one-off interesting case that's like, yeah, but I still busted my ass behind the scenes to get into that position to provide him value.
Right.
And I think a lot of people just have to figure out what that value proposition is. A lot of people just have this expectation that, hey, I want to play with you. No? Okay, well, then you're a dick and you have an ego.
Right.
I don't think it's that case at all. I think it's more of an internal issue where people aren't thinking about, what is the value exchange here? You're going to give me access to your community. I'm going to give, and there's just
right.
nothing.
I'll give you access to my community, but it's like, but your community is like, 1/5 the size.
I'm a funny guy. Like, I'm a nice guy. Like that.
Everybody can tell a joke. No,
imagine if you just walked into Google or Facebook or Tesla and were like, I want to work for you, and they're like, okay, let me hear you, CDome. What can you provide for us? And you're just like, I'm a nice guy.
Yeah, I can do exactly what all your other employees are doing.
I don't know engineering. I don't know this, but I'm a nice guy. Like, no, it's the same. A lot of people have an inability to take that lens because they see this as like, well, you're just gaming. Well, it's like, I am, but I don't think you're seeing the multi-dimensional presence here. I think you're failing to see like the hard work I put in, one, and two, the value that you're either are or are not bringing
providing.
To the table.
Yeah. Right. So I think you made some really good points. And what I say from my personal experience, and I've never really, I take that back. I was going to say I never really played with anyone way bigger than me, but that's not true because I did play with me. Well, okay. I did play with, what I feel like, that's the end of the podcast. All right, guys. I played with Avery one time, and she was when I was streaming at the time, I had like, 10, 20 viewers. I mean, I still have 10 to 20 viewers sometimes, but she was considerably larger than me in viewership, like at a multitude of, at times X 9 or 10 or whatever. And it was one of those things where she reached out to me, and it was a much more genuine, like, gaming session, I felt, versus like, oh, let me reach out to this big streamer X. And then I got like all this mental pressure about, okay, am I doing good as a teammate? Am I creating fun content for their chat? You start thinking about this other shit. What I found is that I've had the best time, the best time playing with people similar size to me. And I don't know if that just takes away some of the mental stress from both players, or if it's like just the fact that you both aren't really worried about like the other person stealing your viewership. Because some people think like that. Like, that's such like an old stupid mentality, but some people do think like that. So like when I play with people of similar size to me, I've had the best time. I have a way easier time reaching out to them. Like, hey, do you want a game? Like, I love, they see me in their chat a lot. I love the content you put out. I love watching the game. Let's run some duos one day or something like that. It's way easier to do that versus like sometimes you'll get, I know you get this all the time. I get them too. You get a random message from someone whose name you don't recognize. So they never like watch your stream, or they never openly let you know they watch your content and like chat with you and kind of get to know you. And you go to look up their channel, And it's like, it's no YouTube content, no Twitter content. It's just them like streaming with no face cam or something like that. And it's like, how do you expect someone to want to risk taking you, onto their content for that day? Because when we're content creators, like you stream, you're trying to create content. It's not like you're just gaming offline and just playing a couple games, And so it's this weird mental battle you have to do. And so I guess what I'm trying to say is, for people who are maybe thinking, I want to reach out to so-and-so to play games, I would recommend, from personal experience, the best situation has been playing with people of similar size to you. If larger streamers reach out to you because they see you doing great things, because you're putting out awesome TikTok videos, or you make great little Twitter clips and little edits, or you make unique YouTube content, then that's a whole different story.
Yeah, I think there's a lot to process there. One, I don't play games unless it's worth my time. Like, I'm out for revenue. Like, I think that's great that like people want to be out there for content and you just want to play. The difference is you just had a kid and you're going to have to start evaluating the decisions on time.
Been evaluating that.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, so if it's not worth your time, like that's like all that's feels good and it's great.
Right,
but if you're not making the revenue, it's not worth your time. And now you're not making the decisions to skip bath time or like bedtime. So I think that's cool and it has merit, but I live in a completely different camp. So what I think is, as much as we like to think this world is happy-go-lucky, that if people approach it as this, if they're just gaming, like there are only so many buckets to fill, especially in a game that we've already admittedly just discussed about that it's hurting. There's not new viewership coming into Twitch. So while we're not malicious about being like, hey, I want to play with so-and-so because I think it'd be fun experience, to think and mitigate that is in the back of somebody's mind, that like potentially you could get new viewership, which would lead to new conversion, especially for somebody's full-time job. Is this your full-time job?
Not at all.
Exactly. So you're not thinking in that mentality of, I have to produce X amount of subs per day, or I don't pay my rent, I don't get my bills paid, I am worried about my next paycheck, of how much I owe the government versus how much I owe to my landlord. Yep. So I don't think it's appropriate for us to assume that like people just come in and game to game. I think
that's fair.
There are some dope ass people like Obi-Wan, my favorite dude. I would never see this ever from him. I think he is cognizant of how he generates revenue. He tries a million different routes with sponsorship and stream element sponsorships. And like, that's one thing. But I believe there's a huge people out there, maybe not so much in the ones that we personally identify and align with, but I believe there is a lot more people out there that realize that there are buckets, that realize the bucket is not filling into PUBG because the game is hurting, as we admittedly just said,
right?
And realize that they need to play with larger people to be able to maybe not be their first agenda item of like, I'm not going this to have fun, I'm going this to steal viewership.
Right.
But I definitely believe and know from being in the industry that collaboration is also a try and attempt to be able to fill more of your own bucket from the other person's. Like, it just is what it is.
But it's okay. Yes, but online viewership is weird because Twitch is kind of one thing, but kind of not. Like, one person can watch two people. That is a very common thing. How many
times have you used Squad Stream? How many times?
I'm not a partner.
Honestly,
fucking Mitch, I'm not a goddamn partner. I'm not a goddamn partner. Thank you for rubbing it in my face. I do not have partner stream.
You've never clicked. You don't.
Whatever Visions and Hallie used to squad stream, I would watch them squad stream. Whenever Visions and Hallie would squad stream, I would.
What percentage of a 100? What percentage of now in the 100% do you watch any kind of multi-channel or squad stream?
It's not my fault that they don't squad stream. If they did, I would watch it.
Even if they did, bro. I watch these guys. I'm not watching squad. You are an anomaly. You are a passionate player. I guarantee most people don't watch the multis that you put up. I know it feels good. I know most people don't watch because you want to tune into your favorite content creator.
Sure. Wait. Before I get off too much off topic, it's not uncommon that one viewer doesn't watch two people. And let's take your side. Let's say, okay, you're right. Let's say a viewer of yours sees you and I playing duos, and then they go, oh, CDome's actually kind of cool. He puts out some cool content. They follow and sub to my channel, twitch.tv/CDome. So let's say they do that. And then the next time you're live, let's say they don't watch you and they watch me instead. But then the next time I'm live, they don't watch me and they watch you. Is that a bad thing? Because that viewer, if they only watch one person, eventually they're gonna get burnt out on that.
You're
on
such
that
a
streamer.
YouTuber. It's scary. You're such.
You're
such a.
You're not
view
letting
guy.
me finish
You're
my
such
thought. You let me finish the thought. If they bounce from back and forth of like the same kind of friendship circle, is that not better than watching you for 8 months straight and then leaving you cold turkey and going to get a new streamer versus watching you and be like, oh, he plays with Chris sometimes. Let me go watch Chris. So let me take a little pickle break and go watch Chris. And let me take a Chris break and go back to pickle. In my eyes, that is a better kind of community focused viewership. Like I look at Corky and Crutch.
I gotta stop you, bro.
No, you're not. You wait your goddamn turn. You look at Corky and Crutch. That's like a perfect example. I watch both of them all the time.
You saturated, you're maximized. It is nothing like. What is your purpose for being on the? Like, we have to go back to it. You keep talking about viewership as a viewer.
Right.
Great. I have one extra view. I am about conversion. So you're talking to the wrong person. I would rather maximize the conversion for somebody for 8 months until they're burnt out and they go and there's only so much paycheck somebody gets in a week or bi-weekly.
Yeah.
That money will be spent on you. If they bounce, now you're taking some of my revenue. I'm not being selfish about it. I'm being a realist. Like
you got your business hat on. You got your business hat on.
This is only a business. I think it's adorable that you look at this because you're so financially secure with your full-time job that you like don't care about that.
I would give up in a heartbeat, by the way, and do this. But go ahead.
In a vacuum where I don't care about revenue and this isn't a business and we're just gaming and we're just on the screen and I don't have to worry about family and this and that.
Right.
Yes, I don't mind if he bounces to Chris and he watches you and then he watches me while we're both live, or he goes and does like I don't have to think that way. But this is a business. Twitch is a business. Like I don't know how to put this any other way. See, I think it's adorable that you have a full-time job and you don't have to look at it as a business.
But it's not just that.
So much less stress.
I think yes, in terms of the social media aspect, way less. Way less. But the way I look at it, and I don't know, this might be the wrong way to look.
If he's in your stream, he's not spending money on my stream.
This might be the wrong way to look at it. I'm open to that being a possibility that I'm wrong here, 100%. But I look at it as a carousel. And just because they're not watching your stream doesn't mean they're not subbed to your stream still. Just so we're clear. We
barely make money off. All right.
Just so we're clear. That doesn't mean that.
I'm not XQC where if you go look at his gift subs, he's got 15 gift subs, but 30,000
you
subs.
just said you had 1,400 subs with 70 viewers. How many gifted?
Gift subs. They're gift subs.
That's what I'm saying.
So if they're in your stream, they're not gifting subs.
Okay, but all right, so fair. But the carousel that I'm talking about in my head is that, like, let's say you and I start playing like every Tuesday or whatever. Like, eventually, the viewership would kind of like maybe the viewership is a bad word, but like the community would kind of evenly spread out. We might have spikes some days where like
I want that. You're my competition still at the end of the day.
Because I have viewers that you don't have, most likely. So if you're at 100 and someone else is at 100, there's a very good likelihood that 5% of your viewers might start to go check out the other person more frequently than checking out you, even just for a little bit of time, for a little break. There's also a very good possibility that that same percentage is coming over to you because of the positive content that you put out too. So it goes both ways is what I'm trying to say. It's not like, like Pickle lost 5% of his subs because he played duos with so-and-so. There's a good possibility that you would just as equally transfer those subs because their viewers came to you, and it's a community thing. People like being involved in a community and helping other people and all that kind of stuff. And what you said earlier about my YouTube mindset, that you're right, that is way different.
But the question was not am I comfortable with that potential of percentage loss? The question was, you said you would rather have the carousel than maximizing 8 months of a sub. I
did say that. Yeah.
I would never pick the carousel. I would pick 8 months of maximizing the sub. Like that's 8 months of a sub, potential gift subs, potential like community. and then driving a relationship further that fosters a deeper relationship there. So
Yeah,
I
it's a
don't
tough
disagree
one.
that there is a risk in playing with
one.
people both bigger and smaller.
Mhm.
But personally, I have to always look at this of this is my time. I have 8 to midnight to do this,
Right.
and I have to maximize my ability, or frankly, and I'm very transparent with chat. You don't owe me anything. You don't have to sub, and you should and can watch for free. But if it comes down to a majority thinking that way, I won't be here. So if whatever you're getting out of this, if you're enjoying it and you love it, I'm just being transparent.
Right.
I have to get a revenue in, or I can't be here. You've seen, and I've been very transparent about everything I got on my plate,
Right.
including family. That's like, okay, like if that's the decision we're making as a community, no problem. You want to spend your time elsewhere? No problem. But I won't be able to be here. And I've been very forthcoming about that.
So how have you combat that then? Because on YouTube, for example, and I don't have any personal experience with this yet, but I feel like I will in the near future. My goal ultimately would be to never have, and it's probably most people, never have to rely on, a person choosing to pay me directly a monthly fee to support me. Instead, I would much prefer having sponsorships supplement that subscription cost of whatever it would be on Twitch, or maybe that Patreon cost of whatever you could make from a individual person. Have you had endeavors with that where sponsors are paying you to do videos and collaborations? And would you not say that that's a more beneficial exchange, because the viewers get what they want still, but they don't have to pay anything for it, and then you get what you want, the revenue, without having to do.
I think you're missing a critical step. The sponsor's still out for conversion, so they're going to look at a streamer that can convert. They're very particular. Like, brands have gotten smarter. They're not just saying, like, that's why, like, the only like ones available maybe to someone like yourself is like Raid Shadow Legends, right? Like they're just kind of doing an overall awareness campaign, but like you're not getting Google, you're not getting FIFA, like the Call of Duty's not busting down your door to like, you can get factors and you can get G Fuels and you can get like the things that but they all come down to conversion. So if I look at somebody with low viewership and low conversion who are just watching for free, like brands are way smarter now than they were years ago, where their infatuation period, the honeymoon period with streamers was happening. They're now saying, all right, CDome, I like your viewership. You're sitting right around like a good amount, but like, what's your, like their first question before they offer you any top line dollars to do jack shit is they're going to want to see your conversion data. And if you're not converting those subs to paid subscriptions, this fallacy that you think that they're just going to give you money because it's a sponsorship and everyone's happy is not real. Like it really isn't. And if you want to get there on YouTube, like you're going to have to get like, or Twitch, like you're going to have to get a lot of paid conversion. Like the reason I get such good, with the people that I've let in is because I've shown them that like, hey guys, like I am this many viewers and this much conversion. My conversion rate's like 40% and the normal is like 2. Right. So they're obviously going to pay me, or I have negotiation power in the discussion to prove why they should pay me more.
Right. Okay.
But otherwise, the only available stuff is going to be these people with general awareness campaigns that are like Jerky XP, Gamer Goo,
buy 3 and you get 1 free kind of thing.
I can name 50 companies that just do this generalized, and most of the time they don't offer you brand deals or money. They just give you like a coupon code,
affiliate
like,
shit.
You get an affiliate code. Like, I think what you're describing is not realistic to anyone watching this stream. Like you're just not going to get that.
Not someone my size. But
not even I guess my size. Like they're not even looking at me.
Well, what I guess what I'm thinking is like the long-term fantasy land is that you could. It's okay to dream. You got to have goals. I'm a firm believer you got to have goals. Okay.
I agree with that.
So long-term, would you not prefer 1,400 subs on Twitch, which you make $5 per sub? You may actually get $250 of that. And then you have to pay taxes on the $250. So what's that, like $2,900 a month roughly from Twitch? Would you not prefer a brand to say, maybe give you a little bit less, say $2,500, which is that's a significant cut, but let's just say $2,900 from your actual viewers, or $2,500 from company X, and your viewers keep that money in their
one or the other? I don't understand why this is one or the other. Like,
because
my
you
goal is to
mentioned
fill as many revenue buckets as I can.
because you mentioned if those viewers or not view, but if those subs go away, you would stop doing what you're doing. What I'm proposing
brand deals aren't
is a
there
different
without
bucket.
The subs. Like the brand deals won't be there without the subs and the
No?
viewership.
But with the viewership, they're not there without the subs though.
Yeah, but how often do you think these brands, like, you think these are monthly deals that are just going to flow?
I have a zero brand deal. I fucking know.
Yeah, no doubt. But like, okay, let's talk Hollywood Bot. Let's talk Hambino. 600 to 1,000. How often are those guys running sponsored streams? Like, no shot, bro. Like,
but is that on them though? Is that not because they don't know the people you know and connections and stuff?
Flowing. Like, I mean, how often do you see an XQC or Summit 1G running them? Like, no, they're not. They are very rare. Like, I see Teep run one, and he's massive at conversion. I did TP's merch, and I mean, he's like the top of the top as far as conversion. He probably runs one once every 2-3 weeks, and that's like as good as it gets. For me, I say pull as many levers. That's why you should have merch. That's why you should have a YouTube channel. That's why ad revenue. That's why you should have sponsorships if you can get them. That's why you should foster subs. Like, because if one of those goes away, you just lost 100% of your revenue.
Right.
Like, the way your mentality about this is like, I want to fill one bucket, but if that bucket goes away, then you're not eating for the next month, right?
Yeah.
And so my thought is, why don't I foster a community that wants to sub, who wants to give subs, because gift subs create awareness. It brings in new people that outside the stream, they get
maybe it wouldn't be there
right?
normally. Yeah.
On top of that, let's create good conversion so I can go lobby for a sponsorship from XYZ. At the same time, I'm going to launch merch. I'm going to launch hot sauce. Like, I need to pull all these levers, because if I stop selling hot sauce, then I only lose 20% of my revenue.
Right.
I don't want to be in a position where, all right, I am going all in on free content. Don't sub to me. In fact, subbing to me is the worst.
Right.
I'm only going to get brand deals because I have 100, 200 viewership. All right, brand deals slow. The economy slows. Brands exit the space. They don't think it's a good investment anymore. You're back to zero. You went from, how do you scale a business? My question to you, genuinely, how do you scale a business knowing you went from 3,000 1 month on an awesome brand deal? You buy cameras and a thing, and then you go to zero.
Right. That's why people get laid off.
And then you go to 500. Like, there's no scalability to your business. Like, you're just like that's not a business. And so, again, I treat Twitch the same way I treated a merchandising business. 1 year we did a crazy amount of million with Logan Paul. He went through some stuff. We went down to 10. I had a business still scaled at X amount up here. I had to fire a ton of people. That same logic still applies to your business on Twitch, even if it's an individual sole proprietorship.
Right.
If you're scaling a business expecting 2,500 and you get zero the next month, that is hard to swallow. Versus having subs where they're consistently subbing, and maybe some leave or some go in different spots, and all of a sudden I went from, let's just say, $4,000 a month. Now I'm down to 3,200 or 2,800. I can live with that. Like, that's still a marginal gap where it's like, I still can pay my bills. I can still scale. I can still afford the content. I don't have to go look for a new job. Like I don't live in the camp of like, I put it all into one, and because it's a feel good story. Like, the other side of that you're not factoring is people also want to pay. Like, there is a large majority that get something back. Like, you're not factoring in, like, a lot of people on Twitch are looking for companionship. They're looking for somebody to take the stress off, something to distract them, something to be a part of a community, loneliness. There's so many factors of things going on behind the scenes psychologically that at the end of the day, sometimes people just come in and give gifts because they're like, hey, dude, I had a shitty week at work, and I just wanted to give this to you because you mean a lot to me, and what you did means a lot. So for me to like want to deny that transaction is both crazy in a business sense, but also like the reciprocation process is what we should be working toward on Twitch. It shouldn't be defined as how much can I maximize for this person. It's how am I fostering a relationship where people are comfortable transacting, not I'm making you feel like you have to, I guess is my point.
Well, there is a direct correlation to you giving money to someone or a business, and you then care more about that thing that you paid for. Like if you were to watch me for free versus you subscribe to me, you, for whatever, just the fact that you give me that money,
there's no commitment, right?
But you're like, you kind of care about you want to go watch my stream just a little bit more, even if it's subconsciously, just a little bit more. The fact that you pay to do something, you want to be involved with it a bit more. And then
imagine if I just had a sponsorship deal and I was just trying to sell to you all the time. Right? Like that's a sponsorship deal. Yeah. Like what if I was just like, hey, it's free, but I need you to buy Factor Meal this week. Hey guys, this
right.
spot
because the key point there is you would need those people to still spend some money, just not to you.
Not coming back next month.
To the brand deal. Yeah, that's a good damn point.
So that's what I'm trying to say is like this. There's only so much per paycheck bi-weekly. Like however you're asking to spend it. To me, it's a lot cheaper to just be like, hey, I really appreciate you spending, $5 this month and you're supporting me and you're right. There is sucky taxes and sucky splits and that's a whole different conversation. But that's a lot more digestible than me being like, hey, I want you to spend 60 on a Factor Meal this week because I need it. I need you to do this. Or hey, I need you to buy this new video game for $59.99. Like you're still asking them to do the same thing. It's just you're relying entirely on one thing that could have the bottom fall out at any moment.
But on the other hand, they would potentially be getting something more tangible back in return versus like just subbing to me to watch my stream versus subbing to.
But why do we not take into consideration all those other factors I was saying, like loneliness,
the companionship and that kind of stuff,
community, they are like that I think is the discrepancy. Like if you were described to let's just say your parents the first time you streamed and you were starting to make money off it, the first question is they always go, why would somebody pay you to watch you? Right. But like that's the factors that that's the same mentality. It's like, why would they give you $5? They're getting something tangible. Like that age of civilization is dead.
For sure.
We are a digital culture. For sure. And the answer is, well, you're watching me and not Netflix. Why would you pay Netflix for, $20 a month for your 3 slots? Like you're watching me instead, right? So you're paying Netflix $20 to watch what, one show? Maybe 2 or 3 a month.
But like the possibilities are a lot higher, though. To be fair,
people don't like choice. That's the difference. Like no, seriously. If I put up an e-commerce site right now, there's so much psychology and written studies that if I put a merch site up right now and I offered you 20 selections, the chances are you leave. You just do. There's too many options and people don't like choice.
You got to put 3, you got to put 3 up there.
It's 3 to 5. 5 is the max. Honestly. I've done so many drops.
I believe it. I believe it.
Yeah, too much choice is not a good thing. So having that consistency of showing up when you say you are, providing those values and those core values of who you are as a streamer, and providing that on a consistent basis, that is valuable. That is a huge value add to people's lives who are seeking, even if it's just entertainment, loneliness, companionship, or community.
A little bit of all of it, maybe, who knows?
$5 a month. Like that is like a drop. They're like, yeah, easily. This guy I had depression and I watched him for a week and he was just having fun and I laughed and he talked to me. Like that is cathartic. That is massive to people in a psychological front that Netflix doesn't provide that. You're still alone on your couch, sad, drinking a beer.
Right. Which isn't a bad thing. I sometimes do that too.
No, I mean, sometimes you need that.
Minus the sad part, but yeah. Sure. Actually, speaking of the wife and I just watched the new Jurassic Park, and I won't spoil it for anyone. I'll just say
15.
Well, have you seen it or no?
No,
okay. So I'm a big Jurassic Park. I love those like childhood movies that I grew up with.
Sure.
Severely disappointed. I'll just say that. Severely disappointed.
Didn't see that coming.
But the comment you made just a few minutes ago about the revenue split and how big of an impact that is on a content creator's bring home revenue. What is your opinion on not like Twitch versus YouTube, but like Twitch versus YouTube in terms of financially being able to support yourself?
Well, the biggest fallacy, and I've talked to some really high execs for a lot of really big major esports teams, and we've had these private conversations. YouTube is garbage. You are not going to grow on YouTube. Yeah. I mean, YouTube videos is great. YouTube gaming is, I don't know that it's going to be, it's very highly the same way Twitch is almost propped up on Amazon Prime is the same thing that YouTube is very much propped up on the ad revenue. It is essentially a grave. It's where content creators go to die.
What?
Yeah, it is not a healthy space.
We got to break this down a little bit more. Hold on.
It is okay. Show me the benefits of the interface. Show me how many people for Doc averaged 50 to 60,000, sometimes 30. Like it just depends.
Yeah, around 30,000.
How much is he averaging on YouTube? Can you give me that number?
Probably around 25,000, right?
No, not even close.
You think not even close?
It's nowhere near what he was, brother.
Okay, it's nowhere near what he was, but what's the percentage of conversion from people who watch the live streams on YouTube versus who watched him versus amount of people who watch the live streams on Twitch versus who watched them? The conversion rate, I would be willing to bet is pretty darn close.
I'll take the bet. And I'll take whatever number you want. Like it is. It's the same thing with Mixer. It's a fallacy that you think. Like, what makes you about that? What about that interface makes you think that it's a successful platform? I'd love to just hear the other side. That you think someone that's conditioned to watch Twitch to be like Twitch has the best interface there is. Their UI UX is phenomenal.
For now,
their ability to
it's software, right?
Yeah, but I'm saying like. Have you watched a YouTube stream? Like they're ass. They suck.
Okay.
Just give me don't take everything you think you know and just give me your gut. Give me your true human. It sucks ass. It
doesn't suck ass.
Find people.
It doesn't. It does not suck ass. You find people by watching the person you watch their YouTube video content of, then you see them go live, and then you say, "Oh, that person's live. Let me click on their stream." So you don't do that.
No, and I don't think a majority of Americans do that in the slightest. I think you've drank the YouTube sauce as a creator too close.
I don't even fucking stream on YouTube, bro. What do you mean?
I know, but you watch a lot of YouTube. You create a lot of YouTube content, so you're interfacing with the platform like that.
Yeah.
I couldn't name genuinely, bro. I could tell you the streamers that got paid to move because YouTube was trying to keep it alive.
Right.
I couldn't name you any big streamers that stream on YouTube besides the one I know got paid.
Yeah, but you don't watch YouTube.
Yeah, but I still am aware I'm in the industry. I couldn't tell you. There's a reason like XQC hasn't gone over in Summit. Like you haven't believed the oodles of money they've been offered. Like
they are on the hot that you got to take out the outliers. They are making so much fucking gifted sub money and shit from Twitch.
So was Tim.
Yeah, and Tim maybe didn't make the greatest financial decision. Maybe Tim wanted to be different.
He went to the graveyard of streaming content.
I don't think it was
He made a conscientious decision and said, I'm okay with this happening. Okay, why did Ninja come back? Because it was so great. Ninja, he
Mixer
loved it.
died.
Yeah, but then he went and tried YouTube out for a while.
No, he didn't.
Yes,
he did not get signed by YouTube. There would be a difference.
But he tried it out and he said, this sucks.
No, he did not say that.
Yeah, go call Lupo and tell me how his viewership is on YouTube.
Okay, but is the viewership the most important thing if you're getting paid? The money difference.
It's a subsidy. It's a subsidy. They paid you. They basically said,
yeah,
hey,
here's a 5-year contract.
Here's $20 million.
Right.
You're going to make more than... Yeah, that's way better. But you're still making a conscientious... Like, we have to
it's a 70-30 split too, though. But wait, for the sub revenue is a much better split for the content creators.
Yeah, probably because there's way less.
Okay, maybe... That's true.
Definitely true.
That's true. But but wait, let's do the math real quick.
Besides the big five, they take out Lupo, take out Tim, take out Courage, take out Doc.
Okay.
Name me 5 streamers on YouTube gaming right now.
Valkyrie. I'm done.
Yeah, it's clearly killing it as far as awareness.
Okay,
and conversion.
I didn't say it was killing. I've
talked to some major players at like 100 Thieves, at FaZe, like some really big players, and it is a well-known fact. It is the place where streamers go to die. It is a retirement party.
Is it akin to the fact that if you wanted to be a big TikTok Vine influencer, you had to move to LA? Or Hollywood? Is it similar to that, where you're not in the ecosystem of the other big people in your fields?
I think it was that way for vlogs. I don't think it's that way for TikTok anymore. I mean,
for Vine it definitely was though, right? Like everybody who
then again.
Well, but if you don't stream on Twitch, I mean, not that you can't stream with people on YouTube and stuff, unless the doc is a different thing. But like, you're more likely to stream with other people who are on your platform just because of the community crossovers and shit like that, you know? You don't agree?
I think that I think when it comes to IRL content, like if I'm filming a vlog or I'm doing some kind of like IRL piece of Vine, like those are all IRL pieces, and I want to collab with somebody. Yeah, you go to
physically
LA,
be
like,
there. Yeah, physically be
that's
there.
a physical connection. But as far as now, no. I mean, I play with Bob, who lives in a different state. I play with Choco, who's in Chicago.
But you're a little different. You knew Choco from a personal connection, but he knows that you knew Choco. You're an outlier. Take yourself out the fucking picture. You're an outlier. You are an outlier. You can't say that.
Networking. You're moving to LA to network, right? Like that's still the same process.
Yes,
I networked online from Ohio. So what is the case? I don't understand the argument.
My case would be, okay, like, so if you're a small Viner, like let's go back to Vine for example, just a quick second. If you're a small Viner and you go to LA, you're not gonna automatically be with the big Vine. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying like if you have a healthy Vine following, the obvious choice back then was let me go move to LA so that I can network and collab with these other up and coming and bigger Viners.
Yeah. I don't think you need to do that anymore.
You don't think it, like the whole Twitch community thing, you don't think that has anything to do with it? Like we just spent the whole time talking about viewership sharing between your communities.
Yeah, but I can reach out to people. So like there is not a huge presence of streamers just in LA. Like that's just a big city. Like I know like Huskers
I'm not saying you have to move
Maven
to LA.
A different one than TP. Merc lives in a different state. Like I don't know, man.
What I'm trying to relate it to, I think I lost you. Let me back up. What I'm trying to relate it to is back then for the Vine example. In order to really flourish as a big Vine content creator, you had to move to LA or Hollywood.
You keep saying back then, but like what's now? Like,
Vine's dead.
Applies?
Yeah, okay.
Do you think that applies now?
Now I'm saying Twitch is the current example. A lot of the Twitch streamers would in my head, more likely play with each other. Twitch is the LA, the Hollywood of streaming.
Okay, I got
like people in that community be more likely to play with each other versus you living in Ohio, which is YouTube, and you're much less likely to meet
It's a wild example, but I agree with you.
To meet those LA Twitch streamers.
Twitch is the most popular platform, so it's easier to play if you're on the same platform. Certainly. Yeah, because they cater to you. Like they're like, hey, you want a squad stream? Here's the benefits. Here's like all these things of like how you can like uniquely unite on our platform. Yeah, I would agree with that.
Your viewers are already there. Like your viewers are in Nick Merck's stream on Twitch. So they're more likely to maybe branch out to other people on Twitch instead of youtube.com live streams. What the fuck am I?
Because the conversion is it's tough to get people to click on anything outside. Like how many people, like if you're like, hey guys, join my Discord and there's 100 people in your chat, how many think you people like there's like one?
3.
Like one.
Okay. Well,
the conversion applies to YouTube. Like they just don't go.
But do you think that's forever? Like the way you make it sound is that like, oh, you go to YouTube, like you're fucking toast. Or is it like, hey bro, right now YouTube ain't the move? If you're a smaller creator.
Both. I just don't see
you don't think their software can be improved? It's Google, right? You don't think their software can be improved to a point to where it's as good?
I'll call AirMax. He was a famous PUBG streamer, 50 viewers plus. He's on YouTube now because he was dwindling. He's at 1 view. Sometimes I pop in, he's 0.
Is that his fault? Question. Genuine question. Is it his fault? Is he not like?
I think AirMax
tags, titles, thumbnails, and network and all that kind of bullshit.
I don't know. That's a tough call, but I think like, dude, the growth on YouTube is not like they bring a lot of streamers to make it look flashy, but at the end of the day, like you said.
He also streams PUBG though.
Agreed, but like I don't care what you stream. You still have to have an active presence on YouTube to be able to go view those YouTube videos to then find out someone goes live. Like imagine I go to YouTube right now. I have like 8 videos and they're kind of okay. Like no one's going to see me go live.
Yeah. Okay. That's okay. It's a good point. I was just about to bring them
over have like a presence on YouTube
already there.
Yeah. I do think you should post YouTube videos. I think that is a beautiful ad revenue source, but I'm saying like, if you're CDome and you go to YouTube right now, you're dead.
Right.
Dead in the water.
But you're equally as dead here if you're starting out from scratch. Equally. is dead, if not
Agreed.
more dead on Twitch.
I think I can agree. I think I can agree with that. That both have uphill battles. I think
Twitch's uphill battle is certainly higher than YouTube's. No. Just simply because of the algorithm. If you are a nobody from Ohio, the middle of Ohio, you pick corn during the day, at night you go streaming.
No, you are so off base right now. It's scary. You just told me how there's a lot of 5. You play with 5, play with 10, play with 20, play with 30, and play. There's so many more viewership on Twitch. There's so many more streamers on Twitch, which equals so much more opportunity to find another 5, find another 10, find another 20, find another 50. That's on YouTube. You can't even tell me how you find these streamers right now unless you search their YouTube videos and find them. Like, how the hell are you networking? I think Twitch has a better networking. Both the algorithms suck. All right, but if you take that out of the equation,
YouTube's is way better though, right? YouTube's algorithm
for videos.
Even for live streams, you can put tags, titles, thumbnails. You can't do none of that on Twitch.
Everybody does that, so it's like, what is that even like? It's like saying I put like 10 hashtags in a tweet. Like, yeah, you can, but like, actually, how much is it getting through? How many people
is live?
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
How many times have you gone to view a streamer, searched through a tag?
How many times? Okay.
Yeah, how many times have you said, I want to hear commentary
that's
today?
That's not how it happens. The tags are in the algorithm for the recommended feeds, because if you click on enough videos that have the tag PUBG.
Bro, you're the funniest cat in North America. You have such a love for YouTube. I love YouTube too, but I'm not even like a YouTube fanboy because I don't even fucking stream on there. Just give me your gut checks.
I'm trying to look up right freaking now live streamers on YouTube, but I can't find any. Fuck, I can't find a live streamer.
You can't even go to YouTube.com and find YouTube gaming.
I'm trying to look at PUBG.
Like, okay, I want to watch Doc.
PUBG live streamer.
To find Doc when he was returning. I couldn't find him, bro.
How can I find who's live on YouTube for PUBG right now? How can I do that? Frick.
Yeah, let's take. I want you to put a timer at the top of this. Let's just
live.
Do a gut.
Okay, I clicked on live. I'm gonna type in PUBG.
Gaming? Where's gaming?
I don't know. I found live.
Bottom left on Explore.
I got wacky jacky videos.
Okay.
Nobody's live.
PUBG gamers. I want live streams. All right, let me
gaming. Watch live.
This UI is so bad. Where is it's not
You're
even
so bad. You got glasses. Push them closer to your face.
No, it's not even. I found gaming. YouTube.com/gaming.
Live.
Top live games. Here we go.
Got it. I got PUBG and I clicked live. We've got the top. Okay, sort. Can I sort?
PUBG Mobile India. Can I sort? Yeah, I can't even sort.
Sort by view count. Here we go.
That's not what we're asking.
Highest view count for a PUBG live stream right now is 202 watchers, and it's PUBG Mobile. Okay, YouTube's dead. All right, I'm out. YouTube's dead.
Yeah, bro.
Wait, hold on. But wait. I'm going to Twitch. No, we can't. No. We got to compare apples to apples.
Popular game right now in North
apples
America.
To apples.
Besides like Dota and League of Legends.
Apples to apples. PUBG, the highest viewed live stream for PUBG is it Bob right now? Hold on. He might be the highest. PUBG Battlegrounds, the game. I want to search for that. Browse. Yeah, he is. What? Okay, 1.2.
I'm gonna do you one better. We're gonna go to Twitch and we're gonna search by category. And I'm gonna break this down in very simple layman's terms. Valorant or Apex Legends.
Okay.
Apex Legends total viewership on YouTube 4.2K watching worldwide.
Okay.
Apex Legends on Twitch 39,300.
Shroud is 22.6 thousand of that. Okay, relax. Shroud is 22.6 thousand of that. If he was on YouTube, that would be on YouTube.
All right, let me find let's pick any game.
Zelda.
Okay, no. Pick like a popular.
Don't be fucking stupid. I can't
even find like Valorant. These aren't even sorted by. Like this is.
How about Smite?
Smite? Okay, can you find it on YouTube? I can't find anything on YouTube right now.
The highest viewed stream on Smite right now is Zapman with 1.5K. If I go Smite on YouTube,
I cannot find Smite.
Filters, live.
Can you find Smite, bro? I can't even find the games I want to watch.
It doesn't even have a view count listed. GG. It doesn't even have a view count listed.
Where's Warzone? Like, is there anything? Can you find Warzone on here?
Warzone. I'm on
How many
YouTube. Yours, Warzone. I'm on YouTube. I click on features live, and then I'm going view count, sort by. The highest view count Warzone live streamer, if this is correct, is T Captain, who has 300,000 subscribers, 400 people watching him.
How many total viewership worldwide is that category?
I don't think I have access to that kind of information here.
I'm looking at him right now. I'm looking at. I cannot find, dude. This UI.
It's pretty bad. It's
so
pretty
bad. I can't even find Warzone, bro.
It's pretty bad. Man, if you wanted to watch Warzone right now, okay.
Here we go.
All right.
Call of Duty Warzone, 1.7K watching worldwide on Twitch, 39,300. Like it is,
but wait,
39 times the amount.
But there's more. Is there more? 39,000. Let me see who's the top. Oh wow. Oh. Yeah, the highest viewed streamer on Warzone is only 3.9K. So it's actually pretty well spread out.
Yes, bro. That's what I'm telling you. It's a non-saturated.
And what I'm trying to say is 70-30, bro. YouTube for life. I'm getting it tattooed on my ass cheeks.
Great. So if you have a 2% conversion rate on 1.7 thousand viewers, even if you had it, you're not even close to, like, you're smoked, dude.
Smoked. Okay. All right, GG.
Smoked.
Hey, that was a fun little thought process. Yeah, sometimes we got to go through that. And look, I'm open to admitting that I'm not correct all the time. Usually I am, but sometimes it's okay. I'll go back to this. I'll say you are 100% correct after factually proving that Twitch is far superior.
I'm glad my subject matter expertise and experience was not good enough that we had to. He's a very analytical guy.
Well, it's not that I don't trust you. It's that I don't know if the viewers trust you. Okay. And also, we've confirmed that YouTube is not the place for live streams. But is it not? Zero part of you thinks it's a yet asterisk up there? You just think, nah, YouTube is really going to be for like long-term video growth, algorithm production. Live stream is a different platform. You don't think they can break into that? Like YouTube Shorts, aren't they doing well in YouTube Shorts? Like breaking into that?
I don't think it's only long form content. I think it's just a content house in general. I don't think look, maybe YouTube gets to a point where they make some changes and all of a sudden it's a wonderful platform to stream on. I think current state, it is short and long term content, like long form content. I think the ad revenue is great ad revenue to increase your bucket, to make potential money as you become a YouTube partner. But I just think right now it's not the place to call home for live streaming. It is certainly the place to call home for maybe clips, content, how-to tutorials, like videos, like whatever you want to create. I think there is a level of that is certainly achievable.
Especially if live streaming is your bread and butter of your content. If you were the person who like streamed one day every 2 weeks,
correct,
YouTube's fine for that. Your viewers will be there because it's a unique thing. But and every day, let me go live and stream. Yeah, okay.
But even most people that I see are like huge YouTubers that like want to like dabble in that. They go to Twitch. Yeah.
Because they know the viewership is there.
Correct.
Okay, that's fair enough. Man, I wonder, does TikTok die if YouTube gets big enough with YouTube Shorts?
No, I look at the same realm. I look at like Instagram Reels. Like I still don't know that the world is conditioned to want to go watch shorts on YouTube. Though when they're available and they're there and they get sucked in, I think they watch. It's kind of like Facebook just did that. So like sometimes I'm like randomly on Facebook, which is like old school.
Right.
And I'll like find myself getting into that same motion of like, oh, this is cool. Like these videos are cool. But most of them are just Instagram videos because they own it that are just like transplanted.
They're rehashed on.
Right. So part of me is like, okay, like remember fleets from Twitter? Like they didn't work out so well, but they weren't established. Like they were like a new, like Twitter's like a new, like I always say the gut reaction.
Twitter's new?
No. News.
Oh, new. Okay, I thought about to say Twitter's new.
So I always say, like, what's your gut reaction to a lot of these? That's probably 80% of the bucket, right? Like, I go to Instagram to look at just pictures or, some short form video content if I'm feeling it, and Reels, right? I go to YouTube to watch my long form content. If I'm there, maybe I'll check out the short form content.
I've never watched YouTube Shorts personally.
Yeah, same. But if I'm there, I don't know, maybe there's an opportunity. And TikTok for me is like short, sporadic original content being developed that usually is transplanted onto Instagram or transplanted onto YouTube as well.
Is it because it's a different app? Like, because Vine came and went. TikTok very well could come and go. Do you think if YouTube made a YouTube short app, that would be like the difference maker that people could go to? Oh, I'm in the Shorts app only. This is what I'm here for.
Sure.
And then maybe transplant them to the YouTube algorithm,
I
whatever.
agree with that. I think there will be many more that come and go. I think that's the nature of social media. That's why MySpace and Zanga and all these things were a thing of the past, and then something better comes out. I think what happened, or Triller, right? Like, there's another one. Like, I think that there's so many content creators in this world. So many, dude. Like,
what is a content creator?
Apparently anything now.
Literally anybody can be a content creator, right?
Correct.
Like, it's.
But what are they actively seeking? Unsaturated markets to be able to try to grow with the most high probability of exponential growth. And when TikTok came out, that's what it was. It became this place where you could get noticed, a ton of high views, whether they're real or not, I don't know. But
probably not
anything that comes out that's new, that has an opportunity to become unsaturated because of the earliest adopters are there, to me and that's how YouTube grew. I mean, like, when YouTube came out with the concept that YouTube videos could be more personable, that's why people like King Batch and Logan Paul and Jake Paul and Team 10, like, they took advantage of it. So yeah, things will come and go. I think YouTube right now is the king. Maybe YouTube topples one day. Maybe Twitch topples one day. I don't know. I think that's just the cycle.
That's a big one.
It is, but Amazon's a big one, and they just released the findings from the reports financially from Twitch, and it's losing for the first time in a while. So
maybe that's Twitch, though.
Yeah, but it's
they bought they didn't let's build this thing and try to do.
Yeah, but they still have the financial capability to understand how to make a successful business revenue.
But do they care? You don't think they bought it just to hey, let's hold on to this and kind of let it die out?
Yeah, they care. Twitch is going to be sold in the next couple of years, guaranteed. Amazon's trying to get rid of this.
Okay, but that's what I'm saying. Like, okay, maybe I didn't word that correctly. Do you think they bought it as let's grow this into something else, or did they buy it let's milk it for a little bit and then when it dies we'll sell it?
They wanted to be involved in gaming. Look, that's what I do for a living now at eFuse, and gamification, tournaments, gaming in general is gonna there's studies out there that's the latest U.S. media consumption studies have shown that there's 78% of people are gamers. Like, your mom's playing Candy Crush for a while. Like, you're gaming, peeing into a urinal sometimes. Like, they're gamifying everything. They're like a bullseye that moves like a car.
Yeah.
Everything is becoming gamified. Netflix is launching their own gaming platform.
I saw that.
Google came out with Stadia, right? Like, I could give you plenty of examples. Amazon was just early in their research and was like, we need to get in. And they realized that their costs associated up, I don't know what it is. Apparently, maybe it's the providing or the encoding or whatever, the staff overhead to keep the thing alive just became not so profitable. As compared to their business models where they're eliminating staffing jobs, right? With robots and shit. I think that problem that's inherently a problem for all business. So if Google or YouTube starts to get to a point where the cost of the staff is not outweighing the profit that they're making, you can only rob Peter to pay Paul so many times by saying, yeah, we're making a shit ton on ads and all these creators we're getting a split on. Maybe that's a good for a while, but any profitable CEO or chief financial officer or revenue officer is going to come in and be like, hey guys, it's hard to say it, but we're going to have to cut ties at a certain point. Like, Microsoft did that. Why did Mixer fail? Microsoft makes a shit ton off of Xbox and all this stuff. They still decided to cut ties.
Yeah.
There's only so much budget for certain business models. We can't look at it as an entirely one business unit that just funds all these little umbrella companies. That YouTube gaming is its own business unit, and Ryan Wyatt left for a reason. I mean, he if it was so good, why is my boy not staying? We have to ask harder questions than just saying, hey, cool. It looks cool and Doc's there. There's not much of a difference to me if I really evaluate it.
But live streaming isn't going away. If anything, it's growing. Wouldn't you say? Maybe not gaming live stream, but live stream in general. Would you not agree? Or do you think that?
I agree with that.
So there's got to be a business model where it makes sense. Is it not? Does it not make sense that Twitch or YouTube would figure that out?
I don't. they haven't. If they're trying, I'm sure that's what they're working on in board meetings all the time. Like,
Well, you just said that Twitch is selling, so not that like but like you're like, oh no, Twitch is gonna sell, or Amazon's gonna sell Twitch like soon. Do you think they just like, frick it, we can't make it profitable, we're out? Or did they see something else that? Okay.
Well, the difference is there's a difference in business entities there. Like the question you're asking inherently, that's like asking IKEA, who's very one-dimensional about the way that their German, walk through the showroom. You get it. You do this. Nobody helps you. If you want us to move it, you pay extra. Like Amazon's got its own business model, and Twitch doesn't make any sense in their ecosystem. The same way, like if IKEA bought something that was like completely hands-on, you'd just be like, okay, like this was a good idea. And like your question about gaming being popular has nothing to do with how it fits in a business model. Yes, gaming is popular. Less live streaming is growing, but that doesn't always mean like okay, like I don't know, something could happen in the world of like movies and such. That doesn't mean Netflix needs to buy it and adopt it. Like
okay.
It's just an interesting business model specifically for Amazon because it matches nothing of what they've done in the past. It doesn't match anything that they do in terms of what they've said that they're trying to do.
Don't they want to get into gaming though on Amazon? Like a gaming
everyone was maybe,
section?
But I mean, Google wanted to get into gaming too, and the Stadia has been a complete flop. You don't think that's like they're just gonna get rid of that? Like I mean, like it's one thing to say like we want to get into gaming because research shows that it's very popular. It's another thing of how you penetrate that niche.
Yeah.
And how you make it profitable. And I think right now companies probably got into these business and bought Justin TV, or just like Mixer getting Ninja and Shroud. Like they say, we want to get into gaming. We realize we're not going to make a profit for a while, but we realize that this growth rate can't be ignored and it's probably going to generate revenue later. And a lot of people aren't pre-positioning their businesses that way. Like they're doing that and then they're getting there and going, oh shit, like we thought we were going to make money back in 3 to 5 years. We're not. We got to cut ties or implode like Mixer or sell like Twitch. Someone will make it work. Someone will make it work
eventually.
But again, the answer as you saw, and I believe we'll see this in YouTube if we don't see success or depending on how they go. Like we just got that email that was like, hey partners, if you're making 70-30 or whatever, like $3.50 a sub, like sorry, we got to take that away.
Yeah.
Right. So they're clearly hurting. And I don't think it's that many partners that are making that. Like they're clearly hurting where every $10,000 counts, right?
Yeah.
And the same thing will happen with YouTube. If they're really like, I mean, they're releasing profit statements based on ad revenue as well. But like you really dug into YouTube gaming's financials. If it stops making sense, that 70-30 that you keep seeing as like they have to have that.
Right.
They have to have that right now because
there's no other reason to go.
Yeah. Like we are you just proved it. We are nowhere near the viewership of Twitch. The only way we can entice creators is by subsidizing and paying large creators to be on there, hoping other people will see it or look more into us. And the other side is we have to pay 70-30 because that's a better split than Twitch.
Isn't it weird that that's still a meta to pay people to come sign onto your platform? Yeah, I figure like Mixer would have been like the proof in the pudding. Like, hey, bro, that don't work.
Well, the difference is they have a shit ton of money. I mean,
and Microsoft doesn't have a shit ton of money. I mean, like, what are we talking about here?
Again, it's no different than Amazon. That's just not how they function. If you like, I've worked with Microsoft in a limited capacity and some other things. Xbox is its own business unit. Xbox and Game Pass is its own unit. Xbox and gift cards are their own business unit. Like
they've got their own revenue model and all that stuff. Like
the reason they're a multi-billion-dollar corporation is because again, they don't put all of their revenue in one basket. This isn't the mothership paying for everything. It's like if Xbox Game Pass stop making money, Xbox Game Pass goes away. They don't borrow from Xbox console sales to keep chunking into it. I believe that's what YouTube's doing right now. And there's only a limited time before somebody in the either a new hire or somebody in the budget team comes up and goes,
"This doesn't make sense.
It don't make any sense anymore. We gotta figure out what to do."
Well, I hope it doesn't go nowhere personally, because I think competition is best for all content creators. Because if YouTube Live, whatever status it has, if it goes away, then it's like, well, shit. What else is out there to make Twitch do something innovative or new or whatever,
now we get $1 a sub, you know what I mean? Like the power becomes
they say kick rocks.
It becomes very much unpopular, the biggest platform. But yeah, I agree. I don't know what, there is a lot of content creators and people coming out of even like youngest like cousins and stuff are filming stuff and trying to be content creators. So I believe another outlet will pop up, I'm sure. But right now it's, I don't know, it's just a tough time because no one's cracked the mold so to speak, of how to make it like a super profitable enterprise.
business. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell me more about your situation with it's eFuse, right? The tournament organization. So I know you've casted a few tournaments with them. How did all that come about?
Well, when we were doing the merchandising, and I still worked doing clothing and products for influencers, a good friend of mine named Matt Benson had come to us and said, "Hey, I want to start this business. I want to try to organize the fragmented market of gaming. There's just so many things that go into like my stats are here, my identity's here, my IRL identity's here, tournaments are here, and like it was very fragmented in the sense of gaming was in a multi-direction of you had to go to like 10 different places to accomplish 10 different things. And so he worked out of our warehouse and built the company named eFuse. And what they have since become is not only a tournament platform provider where they run some of the biggest events in the world. We run some of the biggest events in the world as far as influencers, but they're also the publisher partner to Activision Blizzard, Psyonix, Rocket League. So they run all of the collegiate for those guys, as well as some of the major events that you see. They ran the Caldera Kong versus Godzilla event that happened in Call of Duty more recently.
I did not know they ran that.
Yeah, but also they ran a couple MFAM gauntlets for Nick Merckx. But at the end of the day, they are a tournament provider, a publisher partner, events platform, and on the other side, they're a platform in general. So a lot of these high school kids and college kids that come out of school, like I'm itsOGPickle, but my first name is Mitch. I can go on that platform, connect my IDs from all over, compile my stats for the favorite games that I pull through, and I become a recruitable asset. I become something that college coaches can come and say, or even professional teams can see the top 100 leaderboards in various games, and they can say, "Oh my gosh, like this guy lives kind of close. We want to bring him in to see if he can, fit with our school's roster." I'm 100% now confirmed that Mitch is this guy and that his clips are legit. Because back in the day, colleges were recruiting off like Twitter clips, and you know that I can slap my, quick edit. I can just slap my face of a shroud or something, right? Like,
right.
So, tournament provider, platform, recruiting platform, and a publisher partner. So they do a lot. I myself handle partnerships where I design campaigns for really large players who want to get into gaming, but knowing what we just had a conversation with today, I try to bring them authentically in the right way, and to bring them into the gaming fold to see success with penetrating into that market.
Dude, that's. Can you imagine when we were growing up? And I'm pretty sure you and I are like around. I'm 32. We're
32.
But okay, so we're the same age. Growing up, if those kind of opportunities were that readily, like I remember my first tournament I went to was for
MLG for me.
Okay, I never went to an official tournament. This is you're gonna laugh.
Didn't go. I just tried the brackets. Like I played the brackets.
So I just Halo 2, and I went to at the time there was like a local church group that had a Halo tournament that they sponsored, and my buddy was like, "Bro, my church is hosting a Halo 2 LAN tournament." And I was like really good at the time, and they're like, "We should go." So I went, and I won like $150 at the time or something like that. Yeah, like when you're freaking whatever age, what year? 2002, 2003, whatever Halo 2 was.
Like 15.
Yeah. It's just like it was a crazy thing, but like the thought never even remotely entered my brain about like live streaming or like trying to join a team. Yeah, like none of that stuff, man. Now that I have a daughter, like that kind of stuff, you think about, like, man, what opportunities are they gonna have 10 years from now? Like at such a young age, it's so crazy, like how many possibilities there are. And like the internet obviously makes everything available everywhere because it's the freaking internet. You can just Google and boom, you're there. Like the locality doesn't matter anywhere near as much now.
Yeah, I think that's what we're trying to create, a foundation where gamers can achieve the opportunities they seek through gaming. And that's really our mantra and what we're trying to accomplish every day, from the engineers that build it, the sales team that helps bring brands into the fold to justify it and to strengthen it, and the leadership to continue navigating this path to bringing exceptional opportunities and partnerships with colleges and major publishers.
That's awesome, man. It really is an awesome thing that y'all doing for not just kids, obviously, but professionals who want to, get involved in that kind of stuff. It's really cool to have an outlet that you can trust to have your back too. Because like this isn't on the same topic necessarily, but I remember there was a lot of people, and this might have been like we just got off the topic of like sponsorships. They used to be really big. There was a lot of those companies that would like, let me represent you, Mr. Content Creator or Mrs. Content Creator, and let me reach out and get you partnerships and sponsorships. I don't hear about that kind of stuff anymore. I mean, I'm sure it's out there. I know those companies still exist, but like, I felt like it was much more prevalent back then, and there was a lot more shady situations, a lot more shady companies that would want to reach out and get you sponsorships, and then they would take such a large percentage of the sponsorship that they would end up getting that streamer, when that streamer could go get the same sponsorship and make so much more, of a revenue split without having to give it up to, Tom, Dick, and Harry, who is representing them.
Yeah, I think it's the same conclusions you can draw that we've had with the NFT market. Like, it's a new industry, and when it was new, many people came in for many different reasons, many different agendas, and you saw companies pop up and fade away that were trying to make a quick buck and saw the high of the momentum. But as it stabilizes and grows, those tend to fade away. People tend to understand what they're looking for, what people's motivations and motives are, and I think gaming's in a good spot. I think esports has come a long way. It's become legitimate. It's now into colleges, college programs.
Oh yeah.
And I think back too. Like I would have loved to have some of these opportunities. I probably would have been a collegiate gamer somewhere. Because back in the day I was just playing MLG brackets, and I had Xbox Connect, which was where I could take my Xbox and hardwire it back into my computer and connect to a server through this app called Xbox Connect. Not the camera.
No, I know. FTP. I used to FTP freaking with my Xbox Connect on Halo, OG Halo, before Xbox Live was a thing.
I did that in Halo too. And you could land with a buddy, and we wouldn't know if we're in a Korean server or a California
300,000 ping, dude. It was terrible.
And all of a sudden you're dead. And man, those were or my favorite, the host would disconnect. And everyone disconnects because it was a LAN. So I was like, all right, the host just left, and everyone's like,
and
then everybody had to leave. But
back in the day.
Those were the days.
You got any new games you're looking forward to? Like any new developers or any new like Modern Warfare 2 things coming out you're looking forward to playing?
I played The Quarry recently. I was really looking forward to that game. That was really fun.
What's that one about?
I'm big in, it's kind of like a horror Telltale style game. You choose all the paths. It has like 158 different endings and impacts you can make on the decisions you have with the characters. But yeah, I would say that was a fun game that I was looking forward to. Right now, I'm kind of static. I ebb and flow with games that I hear coming out. I don't know necessarily that I have anything in particular that's exciting me. I'm kind of just head down playing PUBG and enjoying being, making content there while the game's still where it's at.
Right.
Nothing in particular right now, to be honest with you.
Okay.
I mean, I'll look at the new Modern Warfare, or excuse me, Modern Warfare 2 when it comes out on October 28th, and I'm just living. I don't know. There's just not a lot of games that excite me right now.
There is a little lull phase that happens in the gaming industry, especially with no E3, physical E3. You kind of lose a bit of that hype that usually brings together. I was thinking about Modern Warfare 2, and whenever there's a new hype game, the thought always crosses your mind, especially as a content creator, thinking with your business hat, is this the one that I jump on? Is this the one that I try to focus on? You're saying no. That's not even a thought.
Style. Like it's just another. It's like,
well, they're going to have a new battle royale, a Warzone 2 from it. Well, at least that's the article I read. I mean, that's
I'd like to see it first. I mean, like Battlefield said they're gonna have that, and I also think
Battlefield, man.
Yeah, I know. I also remember a lot of games have come out and said they're gonna have it. I think there's a risk reward there. If you want to take a risk and you're not in a secure position, like being there may be the answer, right? Like running to it, but understanding it's already in a incredibly saturated market right now. It's going to have high viewership, but a lot of those viewership are going to go.
They're not going to be for you.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying.
Well,
I mean, it's like
yeah.
it's like, would you have said that about Vanguard? Like, were you gonna be like, oh man, I'm gonna jump on Vanguard now? Like,
What the hell's
let's just see-
Vanguard?
Yeah, Call of Duty's Vanguard.
Oh,
that came out,
okay,
like,
gotcha.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like-
well, no, if it's not a battle royale for me, I'm not interested at this point. I'm
don't think
kind of
anyone's
over
interested.
arena shooters. Well, I mean, there's like Valorant. There's a big market for that still. Like for me as a player, I'm into the battle royale scene. Like that's what I enjoy now. So if it doesn't have like Halo, I loved Halo. Halo's one of my favorite childhood games. Played it, beat it when it first came out, grinded the multiplayer, and as soon as I got just bored of it, I was like, I'm walking. Like, there's nothing to keep me. The BR aspect
Correct.
is so unique in terms of like streaming and viewership and that kind of stuff. But for me, like with the new Call of Duty game, as an example, I'm thinking more of a YouTube mindset of making unique content on YouTube for a new game, because that YouTube blows up, or YouTube viewership blows up when people are searching for certain things. Like if you're a PUBG content creator on YouTube, good luck. If you're a PUBG mobile content creator on YouTube, you're in a whole different world, because there's thousands of more people searching for PUBG mobile on YouTube versus PUBG PC or console or whatever. So other games for me, Halo Forge, the Forge mode coming out for Halo. I'm hyped to see that. I'm not gonna likely not create any content around it, but I definitely will like play other maps other people create, because that seems really, really unique to me. Modding the game, I love that kind of stuff. That's really cool. Warzone 2, and I have with the next Warzone, I have a bad problem of like a backlog of games that I want to go play and beat that I just never freaking get the time to. Like Marvel's Avengers, I started that game like 3 hours in, never did it. God of War, like 3 hours in, never freaking did it. There's another Insurgency Sandstorm I've wanted to try. Hell Let Loose I've wanted to try. There's so many goddamn games that I'm like, man, I want to go play it, but it's like I play PUBG, I stream PUBG, make content for PUBG, and my free time, well, I got family and everything else that we're doing. It's tough, like being a content creator with one game versus back in the day you could just get on and game with the boys for a few hours and let's go play this game now. Let's go play this game. You kind of hopscotch across. All right, so we'll go ahead and wrap it up here. Mitch, aka OGPickle, thank you so much, sincerely, dude, for coming to hang out. I had a blast chatting with you. Let the people know where they can find you live, not live, etc. on social media.
You can hit me up at itsOGPickle. That's itsOGPickle on all socials. You can follow me on every platform that way. You can hit me up at twitch.tv/itsOGPickle as well. I'd love to see you pop in the live stream or interact with the content there, mostly on Instagram and Twitter. So I appreciate you guys. If you stop by, leave a like, comment, you know the drill.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna have all of his social medias, of course, in the description of the video. So if you're listening on your favorite podcast app, check down in the description. I'll have links to his Twitter, YouTube, Twitch, etc. If you're on YouTube watching the video, down in the description I'll have links to his YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and all that kind of good stuff. So thank you all for watching and listening today. I hope you all enjoyed the episode, and we'll see you in the next episode. Take care. Peace.